We're live again. It's time.
Welcome back. Thursday, 13th of August, 12 on the dot. Wearing some more merch. Atomico.
Nope.
Our favorite.
This one.
One of our. So it's weird with the camera there. One of our favorite venture capital companies in the space.
They're gangsters. They also gave us a beautiful bottle of champagne.
Yeah, can we see? Is that okay there on the? Yeah, that looks good.
It's great.
A Ruin Art champagne bottle. I wonder if the lighting will adjust. Yes, it will. Look at that.
And a Corgi hat as well.
And a Corgi hat thrown in there as well.
Looks great.
From the Corgi team and not from Atomico. Maybe we should put this back on the shelf, just so I don't want to knock it over.
Indeed, indeed. We have a big show today. Actually, it's quite good that we're wearing these gilets because we have the founder of CodeRabbit coming on, and Atomico were part of the round. So, you know, a little bit of linkage going on there, which is always fun. We love to see it. Should we pull up the Airwallet agenda?
Let's do it. Let's get it up there. Boy, do we have a lineup for you guys.
Indeed, we do.
Josh Shih is coming in, head of underwriting at Corgi. He's coming in to break down the allegations of the incidents following our investigative piece that was led by Chief Intern Maximus here at ETN. Josh is coming on to discuss the incidents, break the rumors. He's looked at the report. He thought it's interesting. He said, hey, I want to chime in here. I got a thing or two to tell you guys.
Maybe he gives us a definitive answer.
Maybe he'll tell us.
Maybe it becomes conclusive today.
Maybe he'll break it down. Maybe he'll break it down live on the show. We also have Fabian, Hedin, co-founder and CTO at Lovable, coming onto the show following their $400 million raise. This one is going to be an interesting conversation. They broke the timeline yesterday with that. It seems like everything is just smashing expectations internally. And what a huge, huge story for Europe. We love to see it. Harjot Gill coming in, CEO and co-founder of CodeRabbit. They just announced 143 million Series C at a 1.5 billion valuation yesterday. Their launch video was Chef's Kiss. They had Big Head from Silicon Valley sort of headlining it. It was done by Dayjob. I saw on the timeline, Dayjob have claimed credit for the launch video. It was a masterpiece. We're going to be breaking down the raise, what's going on there, getting a temperature check. We've got Larissa Schneider over there at Unframe, COO and co-founder, dig into a bunch of stuff, AI adoption, AI dissolving into the general population. What are we looking at in terms of declining dependency on FDEs? A lot more stuff to get into with her and how Unframe helps enterprises in general. And then we have one of the men of the hour, Alex Mashrabov, CEO and co-founder at Higgsfield. Higgsfield need no introduction. They have been tearing up the timeline. More recently with their 2-hour full AI film, which also starred Stylebender. It also had Rampage Jackson. It had Neon, the streamer, and a few other sort of internet celebrities and UFC folk starring in the show.
Basically the most frontier in this video AI generation that we find ourselves in. So
undoubtedly,
we're very lucky to be talking to people who are literally at the frontier.
That film was called The Cully Hill Boys. We're going to be breaking down what is The Cully Hill Boys. It was produced only using $2 million and a 28-person crew, a significantly lower threshold for traditional movies of that length that have blockbuster potential. That is the Airwallet agenda for the day. We have a load of stuff to discuss. As I mentioned, our first guest will be coming on to talk about the allegations around the Corgi Cafe, hence the cap. It is back. And then we'll just get into the lineup that I've discussed today. One of the more banging lineups we've had on the show since launch. A lot going on. The news, maybe not specifically tech specific, but there was a solar eclipse. It captured huge parts of Europe, and we are going to play a video. But before we do that, let's just make sure that we are safe here at ETN. Do not want to jeopardize. This is actually quite ironic because
having sunglasses don't help at all, by the way.
Well, but, just to, rather have them and not
we got to try. We got to try.
Rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them.
Indeed.
If you are viewing at home, I would implore you to put some sunglasses on if possible. We want to make sure that you guys are staying safe there as well. But we can go ahead and play.
Let's roll it, Sam.
Of the solar eclipse here that we saw in UK and Europe.
It was my first eclipse, so it was like so amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
I've never seen this before. Yes, like
Let's go.
so exciting.
It's super dark over there.
Then suddenly everything went dark here.
Oh my goodness. I have literally got goosebumps. It's not just from the cold, it's about the spectacle that I've just witnessed. This reminds us of what it is to be human.
It was really surreal, otherworldly, to be stood here in this encroachment of darkness, and then it plunged. It was pitch black.
I was expecting it to be amazing, and it's even better. Like when you put on the glasses, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
Wow, look at that.
There you go.
It was some real experience.
There were some great videos on the timeline as well. We won't put any of them up, but just some insane photos and everything on Instagram. Bunch of photos, very cool. So we thought we would chime in and just show everyone the beauty.
Yeah, a lot of people having a good time on the Eclipse. Did you watch it?
I didn't.
Oh, you were asleep.
I was asleep.
You felt a bit ill.
Yeah. I was gone.
Yeah,
Did you watch it?
So I got off the tube on the way home.
And then you saw
We
it.
were here relatively late last night. I got off the tube, and it's only a sort of 5-minute walk to my flat. I got off the tube, and I came onto the street, and I'd forgot that this was happening. And I sort of just come out the tube and look to my right, and there's a load of people in line at the street with their phones out at the sun. So I just naturally like, what the hell are they like? Looks directly at the sun. Literally blind myself, and then walk home. We were using a mirror. We didn't have anything that was like safe enough to actually stare at the sun and watch it. So we got a mirror off the bathroom wall, I angled that outside our window, and then not looking in the mirror, but looking at the reflection onto the window from the mirror.
Right, yeah.
And then you could kind of see it.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty sucky experience to do it that way, to be quite frank.
Okay.
But I did have my sunglasses on just to maximize safety. I will take these off now. Because
are they polarized or?
These are polarized, yeah.
Oh, they are.
These
okay.
are these are good sunglasses. They're
Good.
from
Good.
Ace and Tate.
Lovely.
They are, yeah. Sent me back about 180.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
That's all right. Not too bad.
Yeah, let's move on to the real news. Grok 4.6 was released. Obviously, when Grokbot was released, there was a bunch of talk about how it was going to be launched this week, and it has been launched. SpaceX AI came out with their announcement tweet, and everyone is very, very interested in how the performance, how good the performance is. They said it delivers frontier intelligence and is a significant improvement over 4.5 at the same price. Now, they're basically saying the big news is performance one, and it's like, how the hell does Elon keep doing this? Because they've just come from nowhere. They obviously now have this, this agent, application that again is very frontier, but how cheap it is as well. So if we can probably we'll go through some of these, but this is Grok 4.6 here.
Grok 4.6 is faster, more capable models, and can handle much more challenging tasks than Grok 4.5. It's half the price of the frontier models at $2 million input and $2 per million input and $6 million per million output tokens. When this hit, it struck with intensity. Everyone is surprised. Everyone was like, where the hell did they come from? Everyone's saying never bet on Elon. There's one side that is the SpaceX maxis, the Elon maxis that are rejoicing. And then we have another sort of narrative that seems to be trending in terms of what people are discussing around. It's impressive. It would be wrong to call this frontier. It seems to trend towards completion, but gets pretty confused sometimes. So two very distinct takes across the timeline so far. But ultimately, as always with these type of things, this did incredibly well on X, 22 million views. Yeah. It was trending yesterday. People have been waiting for this, and they've dropped it at a really interesting time because SpaceX is up 40% in the last 5 days. Yeah. Absolutely mooning. Thank God I sold all my Google shares and put them in SpaceX.
Michael Truel came out on X, if we pull this up, Sam, excited to release Grok 4.6. With each release, Grok is becoming a more capable model digital colleague. 4.6 is significantly better at difficult tasks and knowledge work. It combines opus, class, intelligence, and polish with very low cost and high speed. I think it feels like it's hitting like basically everything. There was some skepticism on whether it was whether it was actually frontier, it's kind of like middle, top, it's, whatever. But I think the fact that it's getting to frontier levels, like full stop, is very exciting for I think this whole kind of race, right? Because obviously OpenAI and Anthropic have been kind of like toying and playing around at the top, but then Grok was just not even in the conversation, and now 4.6 has like catapulted it again. As I mentioned, the Grok bot, that application and actually being able to use these models, they're kind of like honing in on that as well. So they are just hitting this race with kind of like, from every angle. So it's very, very exciting. Beth Jezos came out and said, this is a retweet from Nick, and said, looks like Grok is fully back on the frontier menu. You can see from the photo from Nick that intelligence Grok 4.6 is basically, as good as GPT 5.6. Well, it is. And you won't be able to see that. Fable is at 62 on the kind of like intelligence index. Again, Grok is getting there. Benchmarks, they are at the top. They're in the frontier, which is very, very impressive.
I've got a graph to pull up that is basically showing where do we have it? A bunch of different. Oh, not that one. Sorry.
Vitoro basically came out and said, so they just caught up in 3 years. Grok is now frontier. How does he do it? There was a lot of like excitement around just the fact that they've come out of nowhere, which is fair. It wasn't even the conversation. And now they're there.
So this graph is the original that I'm trying to pull up. Someone actually created another one. I can't find it. That was basically like, hey, I fixed this for you, and it shows where they're leading on what type of benchmark it's doing it on. And we can see on the graph it's basically frontier against Fable for AA Intelligence Index. On the GDP val AAV2, it's at the top, and then just working the way down all the way from Cursor Bench second. Deep WSE V11, it is third, but coming out of nowhere on what is a fraction of the price, it does look like the acquisition with Cursor, and seeing that it's being released by the Cursor founder as well, it looks like that 60 billion acquisition is going to be basically incremental. So in the point of comms, I saw someone else say, if I told you a year ago that SpaceX would be more frontier than Google, based off that model, so you call me insane. Yeah. And now it's like this has just earned them that right. And it's very interesting as well, because now we have a publicly traded company that isn't Google that has potentially frontier LLM capabilities.
Well, it does now, which is really exciting. And I think I don't know what that means for the Anthropic IPO. We've got a story that we can touch on, because there's getting to be some skepticism, but in terms of their growth and the multiple that they'll be trading at, it looks like they're going to hit $2 trillion, which is insane, and just kind of blow the SpaceX IPO out of the water. I just want to pull this one up from Just Loki. He says, it is pretty crazy how Elon just basically willed a frontier AI lab into existence. Not many people could do that or even get close to it. Perhaps it is a singularity of a sort. He's right? It's like this guy is just superhuman. Andrew Curran, actually, you can see superhuman. And to follow up, to feed it, he is now constructing by far the largest building in human history with the Terafab. So he's just basically doing everything.
Yeah. And if you've read, let me grab it actually. If people have read,
what do you owe this book? Yeah, nice.
That locked back on me.
Hello.
There we go. This, you will get a sense of
why
you can't bet against him, particularly in a realm of hardware. It's one of the most insane autobiographies I've ever read, obviously by Walter Isaacson, an amazing writer. You just get a genuine. This is mainly focused on Tesla, SpaceX in the early days, and even elements of the X acquisition as well. You just see how relentless the individual is. You just can't compete with him. There's literally no point. Yeah. So yes, if you haven't read that, go and check it out. It's very cool. It starts to make sense, all the stuff that you see in terms of the relentlessness. Very, very good book. There was a funny take, not really a take, more of like something that happened. Toby Lutke over at Shopify tweeted out, I have no idea why, but Grok 4.6 just totally freaked out doing some maintenance task when it saw how low my GitHub ID is. And there's like a brief sort of explanation, like the GitHub ID is marked in a cumulative sense in terms of like when you sign up. So if you were using it really early, you would have a lower GitHub ID. If you're using it a lot later, you would have a much higher GitHub ID. And in a way, you can say that, okay, well then a lower GitHub ID kind of makes you one of the OGs. This is the response from Grok 4.6. It says, wait, 347? That is not merely an old GitHub account. That is a 3-digit GitHub user ID. GitHub has well over 100 million developers now, and your immutable account identifier is GitHub 347. You were apparently standing in the lobby while they were still assembling the furniture. There are likely GitHub database migrations old enough to know you personally. Some foundational Rail models probably has a special execution plan because your row is practically adjacent to the scheme. I expected 347 to be a typo, an organization ID, or a truncated value, but no. This is an absurdly low ID. Museum grade account. Protect it accordingly. That's a great marketing post for Grok 4.6.
2.2 million views as well.
2.2 mil. Obviously, Toby will always bang when he puts something out that's pretty good. But this in particular is just an amazing thing to see and a fun little quirk. Maybe a feature, not
Indeed.
a bug.
There was some skepticism. Benjamin De Craker was literally firing tweets out, to be fair. He was saying a lot of people acting like Grok 4.6 just beat Anthropic and OpenAI when really it didn't. The Grok 4.6 numbers show that XAI is not out of the race, but also is not at the top. It's in the middle-ish top against models that the competition is already getting ready to update. It showed that Grok still has a pulse, which is a good thing, but it's a different thing. And I think it's a fair take, right? Like, yes, it's now in the top, but of models that are, a few weeks old. So maybe there's an argument to be made there, but then again, I think the fact that Elon and the model has gone from like not even in the conversation, not even like nowhere, and now is, in the top. Yeah. And it's only up from here, and it's the worst it's ever going to get. So, I think, yes, Benjamin, you have a point, but I do think that, give credit where it's due because it's an astonishing achievement.
We've gone from it's like not even yesterday prior to Grokbot, we were saying like.
Well, there was surprise about Grokbot being like, whoa, hold on, you guys have done
pretty sick.
Yeah,
and I, still don't know, like the narrative of like, I don't know anyone that uses Grok, like today it's being celebrated.
No, I do. No, it'll be interesting to see usage numbers. Timmy again said something in terms of like how it's performing. He says, and this is actually from like the Toby Lutke kind of stuff. You can kind of see this pulling through that message. He says Grok 4.6 is one of the most oddly behaved models I've seen so far. It produces many times the output tokens compared to Terra or any similar intelligence model. It is cheap and fast, but takes everything extremely seriously and always investigates and unclear information. It values completeness above everything else, including economics. The model seems to be designed to be economically viable, but acts differently. I think that it's a fair take. I think there's just no need to say that.
Well, it's honest, giving you feedback.
True.
It's fine.
It just seems pointless.
Yeah,
but again, I haven't used the Grok model yet. But
you can, as you say, you can see it with Toby's thing. It's like, this is weird as hell.
Yeah,
that was a really weird thing to happen.
Yeah.
Another one on the other side, Justin Schroeder. Early vibes on Grok 4.6 are not great. It's fast and is willing to do security work at OXBOYD, and I have already seen multiple instances where it makes dangerous mistakes and later tries to cover up poor decisions. It even gets defensive. Unfortunately, we cannot trust it. That's quite funny. That sounds like a bad employee.
That sounds more Grok.
That does sound more Grok. Which is funny that we think that historically, that's just been like, oh yeah, you were so.
That's
Grok's
normal.
like the cheeky, annoying one.
Yeah.
Who like sometimes messes everything up.
Yeah.
Not that the other models don't, but that is more of its branding. So.
Indeed.
But that's funny.
Indeed.
It's covering up poor decisions, and
Yeah.
then it also gets defensive as well. So it's like it's gaslighting the user.
It's deceiving.
Anyway, yeah.
It's a deceiving model. Aaron Burnett came out with a great tweet, quote tweeting the announcement and said, "Can wait for the day." I think that's meant to say "can't wait." Can't wait for the day Anthropic and OpenAI release specs on their Frontier reusable rockets.
Love
Maybe
that,
this becomes a physical AI race as much as a model race. You never know. But but then you have, that's why I'm saying, like, why are people shutting this down when SpaceX is already at the frontier of all of these things, building the biggest building ever as well, and has now just got to the frontier. Like, yes, okay, middle, top, yeah, fine. But man, that's just like nitpicking, in my opinion.
Yeah, but there's going to be haters, you know.
When Anthropic and OpenAI, when they IPO, and maybe Anthropic does IPO at a larger valuation than SpaceX, but when they have their own space, SpaceX's, when they have their own kind of frontier.
So that's when we can chat.
Reusable models. Then you can.
And we can chat. Then you can chime in.
Indeed.
Well, we can one day pull up the stats for that. And if you want to pull up the stats, you can go to Polymarket. It is the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed. Profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com to see all the good stuff they're doing. Next on the docket, I think those are the timeline takes for that in particular. But again, just going back, like the stock itself, I think, let me just check where that's at today. I think it's up even further, actually. So 146. So just in the last 5 days, it's up 36.38%. Bounced over its listing price. Basically, the bottom was in around Friday, 31st of July, and then Wednesday, 5th of August was like the true bottom on the day of the Google shakeup, which is very, very interesting. But yeah, again, just high level, very interesting to see how, because obviously the stock has multiple things going for it, right? Obviously the SpaceX side of things, but when we add in the potential of a truly frontier model, how will we see this publicly traded company perform? Will that have a huge index on the price? How will it respond to Grok 4.6 news specifically? I'm not sure what it's doing in pre-market. It seems to just be kind of sat there in pre-market. It's just hovering around what it closed at the other day, down a point or two. But that's going to be a really interesting thing to see, because we can see Anthropic, OpenAI hit these insane valuations privately. But what does that mean publicly, when we can actually test it out, price test this thing?
Yeah. We have a story about the Anthropic. The Anthropic real value that it could IPO at. But yeah, before we do that, let's move on to the Forbes 30 under 30 scandal. This was a great story that came out in the New York Times.
Super crazy.
Forbes has fired their top editor after discovering he received secret $6 million payout. Randall Lane, the magazine's chief content officer, received the money from the founder of Shih Research, which has worked with Forbes on content about wealth advisors. This is a very interesting story, because it's kind of like it was already written before this even came out. You could have probably bet some money that this was going to happen, and now it has. Very interesting.
What a slam dunk for the Fraude 30 under 30. You literally cannot write it. The founder of Forbes 30 under 30 is now on, technically, the Forbes 30 under 30 felony list.
The Fraude felony list.
Which is huge. It's literally poetry. It's to the point of a Shakespearean novel. It's just absolutely stunningly beautiful. What an amazing scoop. What an amazing story. And it's mad. It's the stuff he was doing with the money is crazy. they explain a bunch of it in there.
Yeah. Let's start from the top. Benjamin Mullen reported in the New York Times, the top editor at Forbes was fired last month after the company discovered that he received a $6 million payout from the founder of a firm that does business with the magazine, according to 3 people familiar with the decision. Randall Lane, the magazine's chief content officer, was paid by R.J. Shuk, whose company, Shuk Research, has teamed up with Forbes since 2016 to publish rankings of wealth advisors. The payment was made after Mr. Shuk sold a majority stake in Shuk Research to PPC Enterprises, a private equity firm, last August. 2 of the people familiar with the transaction said. It isn't clear why Mr. Shuk paid Mr. Lane. According to a person familiar with the matter, with Mr. Lane's thinking, he considered the payment a gift in recognition of the advice he provided Mr. Shuk over the years. Yeah, nice. This article is based on interviews with half a dozen people familiar with Mr. Lane's exit and his work at Forbes, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss confidential and proprietary information. If we go down to, this was a super interesting paragraph. It says, Forbes' business model has evolved over the years. As its print advertising revenues decline, the company ventured into new businesses such as selling commemorative plaques and holding ticketed events for professionals who made its coveted lists. In the 2010s, it was criticized for publishing a flood of articles from contributors, some of whom had little experience, if any, in traditional journalism. Some contributors promised people and businesses a mention on Forbes.com in exchange for payment. Forbes in 2018 made changes to its contributor network and said at the time it was redoubling its commitment to quality, as quotes. Have they done that? Probably not. Sounds like they haven't.
Scandalous.
Yeah, it's very scandalous. More on the Mr. Lane story. Mr. Lane is now focusing on his own projects. In 2023, he founded the National Thoroughbred League, a competitive horse racing association. And this summer, he mounted a rock musical. He wrote about Benjamin Franklin, titled The Sound of America in Philadelphia, that cast the founding father as America's first rock star. It finished its debut run this month.
I can show you a photo.
So the guy is just doing all sorts of random things to, I assume, kind of clear the name of his fraudulous.
We can pull up. I have a photo of that because I saw it earlier. I'm not gonna lie, it looks kind of cool. I'd probably go and watch that. That's our Benjamin Franklin there. He's rocking out on a guitar. It looks like, but the level of just insane breaches of conduct is mad. And Forbes, take Forbes itself as an entity. I understand, yes, you have to work out how to expand and explore new revenue lines and whatnot. Sure. But let's take Forbes under 30 in itself. They have Forbes under 30, e-commerce, whales. They'll go Forbes 30 under 30, Forbes 30 under 30, spreading down from that industry, and then within even those industries, they'll break down into geographical. So it's just and I get why they do it, because I think you can pay to get on there. That seems to be very, very common. Because you see stuff on on LinkedIn, it's
hey, I've just made Forbes 30 under 30.
Yeah. And they're just finished an internship or something like that, and it's okay.
I think there is a tiny bit of you have to have done something, but
it could be
there is very much pay to win.
Yeah. It could be literally
very much pay
nothing.
to win. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
TLDR, if we were offered Forbes 30 under 30, I do not think I'd take it.
Oh, I'd take it. I'd take it for sure.
No way.
Go jail, basically. Excited to announce I'm going to prison.
Let's go through some of the tweets on the timeline about this.
Wait, can we go back to the articles? There's a few.
We can if there's a few things
about Mr. Lane himself. Mr. Lane has said in a statement he's taken a little bit of responsibility. I made a mistake, and I take responsibility for it, said Mr. Lane, who is 58. This is to the Times. I should have disclosed the gift, and failing to was a serious error in judgment. I deeply regret that, and I lost the job and team I love because of it. None of this changes how I feel about Forbes and the amazing people there, Mr. Lane added. I thought that was a pretty sincere message. I'm kind of thinking, fair play. This guy, he's built Forbes up. He's released what I assume is one of Forbes' most popular sort of marketing lines, like Forbes 30 under 30. That's probably how most people know Forbes.
Yeah.
So pretty genius distribution metric. The virality is baked into it because if you get it, you share it. It's like OG growth marketing.
No, it is. Yeah. I mean, Forbes is a very old publication. I think they're literally 100 years old. Yeah, I think they're about 100 years old.
Yeah. Slightly older.
How old?
They were founded in 1917.
Wow.
By Scottish financial journalist B.C. Bertie Charles Forbes.
Let's go.
That's a pretty gangster name.
That is a pretty gangster name.
And his business partner was Walter Dre. So this guy, BC, his second name was Forbes, but his business partner was Walter Dre. But they launched it as Forbes. I wonder if there was a discussion around
Forbes
that.
Dre.
Forbes Dre is all right. I mean, Forbes sounds better, to be fair. But
Yeah, but it sounds better because of the 100 years of legacy.
That's true. If they just rebranded to Forbes and Dre now, it'd be a bit like...
Not a fan.
So it is old. It's an incredibly old thing. But, he's made the most of his position. 58, he's ridden it all the way, took $6 million. I don't even think he has to give it back. Like maybe the investigation is ongoing. But
No, because it sounds. It just sounds like it's like hey, we did this as like a thank you. It's clearly not a thank you, but like they can't.
They've got away with the masking.
They've got away with it. They've got away with it, and they're gonna get away with it.
I mean,
that's what happens.
Not gonna lie. He's made a buck.
He has.
Fast way to make a buck.
Josh Barrow isn't very happy with that. He said, nobody ever secretly pays me $6 million. Sad face. And it's true. He said the story is weird on several dimensions, but one of them is who wouldn't rather have $6 million than a job of running Forbes magazine, which is fair. He's taken the money, scurried away, and sounds like he's doing a lot of other random things.
His horse racing competition. He's got his Benjamin Franklin
AC/DC thing, whatever it is.
I think there was actually an interview on him doing that. What was it called? The Sound of America, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Sound of America. We can find it. Where is it? Because I was looking at it earlier. Forbes founder.
Class says, if only now you figured out that Forbes is a paid content mill and 30 under 30 is just a paid listing. I have a bridge to sell you. Yeah, that's right. I mean, everything is, it's all paid. It's all paid for. And the head editor is no different. He's being paid to do a bunch of things. As a thank you, probably not a thank you. It's something else.
There's a piece in Forbes of a video from him.
Go on then.
Do you think we can get this one up? It has sound as well.
You see a lot of microphones up here. We are here in Alexander Hamilton's house. This is the first symbol of upward mobility in America. But we're also here in Ben Franklin City, which is the first city of upward mobility in America. And I think it's an apt comparison because, all right, both Alexander Hamilton, follow me. Alexander Hamilton and Ben Franklin both made the top 20 list of all-time self-made Americans. Alexander Hamilton and Benjamin Franklin both have their faces on U.S. currency, but as they're proud of in Philly, Hamilton's only 10, Franklin's $100. They're both music pioneers. That's what I think people understand.
He sounds like the guy to take $6 million.
Anyone who wears a hat like that, I think...
watch him.
But I think that's a very, very typical, old school sort of pop-esque, mogul-esque, wheeler dealer kind of mogul type thing. But there's a bunch of stuff online that you can go and look at the actual Ben Franklin musical that he started. I think it was pretty well received, but all the stuff that I could see that was rating it as well received came from Forbes. So maybe that's the numbers have been fudged a little bit there.
Talking about the things that he is now doing, Garrett DeVink he highlighted the something in the New York Times article that said what he's doing, National Thoroughbred League, Competitive Horse Racing Association, mounted a rock musical he wrote. He says, of course, now the Forbes guy who took $1 million gift is doing the most stereotypical Monopoly man rich guy stuff possible. It's so true. National Thoroughbred League is very rogue, and also something that a man who wears a hat like that is going to go do.
It's very man who wears a hat
Horse
like that.
Racing Association, very kind of old money.
I agree.
Look down upon a lot. I think starting one of those now, I think obviously they're very legacy, so they're part of whatever. But there's been a lot of talk about horse racing and about whether it's obviously good. I
was at the races the other week.
Yeah.
I had a great time, to be fair. It was all right.
No, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I had a good day out, but I do think that is like, if you did get $6 million, and you're the type of guy to take a bribe like that, like that's kind of like exactly what you go and spend.
Exactly what you would go and do.
Like, there's no other stuff to spend it on. I think it's just like it's encoded into him to go and spend it on that stuff. Let me tell you about some of our other friends, though. It's Framer. It's the good old-fashioned Framer. Build better sites faster with Framer. It's the all-in-one finance platform where enterprise teams design, build, and ship production-ready websites. No dev handoff, no bottlenecks, no creative compromises. We are on Framer ourselves here at ETN, and you can go have a look at our new website that has our newsletter on, and you can also reach out if you want to come on the show via our website as well. We will see it. We will look at it. We will get you on the show if you do that.
Indeed. Max Tanney had a different take. Said, so hardworking journalists aren't allowed to get their bag now.
Hey,
interesting.
Look, I'm here for this. The guy's grinded. He's
had a hard time.
Been super tough wearing a hat like that.
Yeah.
You know, like you've made some connections along the way. Got given a small friendly gift.
Small pre-seed check nowadays.
Just a friendly.
To go and start a few thoroughbred leagues and a bunch of other random things.
I rue the day when something like that isn't acceptable personally,
Yeah.
Just a guy in his hat with $6 million, setting up a little thoroughbred thing.
How much do you reckon he was paid for his role?
He owned the company, I guess. So.
No, he didn't own Forbes. He's head editor.
Oh, I thought he was... Was he not like...
No, he's head editor.
Oh. A lot less than I thought then. 100... what would they pay? I mean, it's Forbes though, right? So
250K?
I feel like everyone who works at Forbes in a senior position would be on huge salaries.
Yeah, just as an ego thing.
Can we check...
Forbes salaries.
Check what he was making. So let's see what he would risk as well.
Yeah. So the average estimated annual salary at the media company Forbes is around $112,000. Software engineers up to 200K. Product design 114. So let's go like exec. You're looking at like maybe over 250 for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe like 500K.
Been there for ages, I think. Yeah, nothing public on his salary.
Yeah.
So he's risking an unknown amount for the $6 million. Probably, he's taking that bet every time.
Yeah.
If you want to go and start a thoroughbred championships like he went and did, which I commend. Not the fraud stuff. Don't commend that. But he's worked his ass off. Maybe he deserves $6 million in his own horse racing championship. Well,
yeah. I mean, he did say I should have disclosed the gift, and failing to was a serious error in judgment. I deeply regret that, and I lost the job and team I love because of it. None of this changes how I feel about Forbes and the amazing people there. So he is,
he's sorry, man.
He's a sorry man, but also
he's apologized.
Let him go and start his thoroughbred leagues.
Let him cook. Let the guy cook. You know? Let him cook. Let me tell you about some more of our friends that we have on the show. Today it's Base. Base, the infrastructure of the on-chain world. Base is built to empower builders, creators, and people anywhere to build apps, grow businesses, create what they love, and earn on-chain. Go to base.org to see what those guys are doing over there. Next on the docket, what do we have today? Did we get through most of the timeline reactions to
all of them? Let's talk about Anthropic.
Let's do Anthropic. Anthropic investors bet on $2 trillion valuation in record IPO. Rapid revenue growth fuels hope Claude Maker can overcome challenges to become the biggest listing in history. Interesting to see this come out after we reviewed I think it was WSJ, with Anthropic sort of calming the nerves of the investor pool of Anthropic, making that sort of, knowing this would go out. He's chatting to journalists in that particular piece, but knowing it would go out, we are taking a step towards biology and chemistry and like that sort of curing diseases area. Strategic or not, very smart move. So it's interesting to see the FT come out with this write-up the following day. This is from George Hammond over in SF. He says Anthropic investors expect the AI startup to flow at a valuation of $2 trillion or more in October, a dizzying figure that would eclipse SpaceX and make the AI lab's debut the largest initial public offering of all time. I, for one, cannot wait to see how this unfolds. I don't think I'll be getting any exposure, to be quite frank. I mean, like, obviously not pre-IPO, but on the day, it's just going to be an absolute insane thing to watch. Because I feel now it's captured the world's attention pretty well. I'd say...
I think less so than SpaceX, but yeah.
You think less so than...
Yeah.
Than SpaceX?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. What as a top of funnel?
I think obviously the fact that it's gonna blow the water out of the SpaceX valuation. What was that? 1.7 trillion. Just shy of 1.8 trillion. If this is a valuation of 2 trillion, that's going to be, as you just said, right, it would eclipse SpaceX. Half a dozen of the company's backers told the FT Anthropic's rapidly rising revenue would enable it to more than double its current valuation in a planned autumn float. So I think 2 trillion is actually like fairly conservative. I think there was a statement in the FT piece that was like, if Anthropic is growing at 800% a year, you'd think at the incredibly low end they would trade at 30 times revenue. Said one of the investors in the group. That would make them a $3 trillion company. They are growing. I think they're hitting revenues at all they're looking at revenues at about 100 to 120 billion by the end of 2026. That's obviously annualized, and if so I think it says using the startup's preferred measure, which infers full year sales from the recent performance up by more than 10 times over the course of 2026. That's insane, right? So they're growing so quickly. 30 times revenue is really not that high. I think standard is around 60, I think. Anthropic lacks a publicly listed US peer that would provide a benchmark for its valuation, but companies that are seen as AI beneficiaries, such as data intelligence platform Palantir and cloud company Nebius, shout out to Nebius, they're legends, and Palantir, obviously, and have traded this year at roughly 50 times revenue. So those two companies aren't growing as quickly as Anthropic. Anthropic are probably one of, or if not the fastest growing company in history. And they'll be trading at well over 55 times, I think. So obviously, what this investor is saying, who is very lucky, being conservative at 30 times revenue, it would make them 125. It would make them a $3 trillion company. Yeah. The reason I said 1.25 trillion is if we pull my screen up, this is what the poly market is saying. So $5 trillion, which is kind of not possible, I don't think. 6%, 4 trillion, 10%, 3 trillion, 22, 2.5, 3, 35%, 2 trillion, 47, 1.75, 55. So 1.25 is the highest percent. I think that will eventually kind of creep up to 1.75 to 2 trillion, around that. I would say, all of the, this is obviously the hot spot around here. I think 2 trillion is a good benchmark, but you don't have a benchmark yet, right? So you can't really compare, because they're the first model maker to IPO. You can't really compare any pricing, so it's really hard. But yeah, I'm going to be following this one. I think they're just, they're saying by the end of the year, this is probably going to be an autumn listing. It's going to be earlier than that, probably September to October. And yeah, I mean, no talk about OpenAI at the moment, really, to be honest. OpenAI are going to be way later, 2027. But yeah, interesting.
I'm curious to think, like, how does that, on opening day, obviously goes bananas, same as SpaceX. But I'm realizing that, like, Musk as a figurehead is probably more globally well-known than Dario. By, like...
Probably. Yeah, like...
Yeah.
I mean, dude's got one of the best books ever written.
True. And he's been in the public eye for many more years.
One of the best autobiographies, not books generally.
And has been in the public eye for many more years. So has had his sort of stories come out.
Wait, who's this? Dario?
No, Musk.
Okay.
Been in like public headlines consistently for the last 15 years, obviously running multiple different companies at once, a very controversial figure, so has naturally like captured more attention than Dario for a while. So I guess like more people know Musk, and by proxy more people will know about SpaceX, and then by proxy potentially more people are getting ready to put money in on listing day.
On listing day, yes.
Yeah. But then with Anthropic though, what maybe I'm thinking is an interesting counter argument is, are they... Probably less people will know them, like Anthropic. Yeah, okay. SpaceX will be more popular.
They'll spin the story that
Anthropic.
It's going to be the biggest IPO ever.
So bad, yeah. And I think that like individuals with more capital per person are probably watching that compared to like the total number of people watching SpaceX. I imagine SpaceX probably had like even a lot of retail people focused on it. But I'd imagine that.
But the retail, like, they don't do anything.
Yeah, it's like negligible compared to an institution, right? Yeah, but I'm saying like Anthropic then would be like heavily institution dominated.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Like, do we see it pop more than SpaceX on the day?
And I think that's why they're saying that it's going to outweigh the SpaceX IPO. Obviously, you mentioned about the Wall Street Journal article. In the FT article, they kind of like, they mention this and they say the bullish projections come despite mounting challenges, including rising competition from Chinese rivals, pressure for AI regulation, and a simmering feud with the US government. The concerns, particularly the Commerce Department's temporary ban on Anthropic's best model, contributed to overall revenue growth slowing in the month of June, according to two investors with knowledge of the matter. Even so, they said the company had rebounded and continued to grow at an extraordinary rate, even by Silicon Valley standards. So, like, this thing is just on a tear, and even with slowing revenue by the things that they had with the Department of War in the US, Anthropic and the Trump administration haven't really been looking like best buds recently. They're still like far outweighing all of this, and with all of these, I think people are trying to pull all of these kind of different elements in with like Chinese models. Anthropic is by far the most expensive models to run. Then it's OpenAI, then it's now Grok. Shout out to Grok, let's go.
Love Grok.
So like they are still like with all of these like different elements being pulled in to like say, hey, like, sentiment is like kind of in the other direction. They're still going to be the biggest IPO in history.
Yeah, I think this even negative sentiment is sentiment.
Yeah.
So it's like it's still being discussed no matter what. And I'd imagine that you chat to anyone who's like a naysayer, who's there's a huge threat here. Like, no, this won't. Like, this will affect the upper. Like, if you went to those individuals and say like, here's some stock.
Yeah.
If you don't think this is going to work, happy to buy it. Happy to buy it off you. In the same way that I think Sam Altman had that conversation with that fellow and the guy was grilling him on OpenAI's revenue projections like 6 months back compared to the valuation. Sorry, grilling their current revenue compared to what they were projecting and what they were like raising and all this sort of, do they have to have a buyout? And he was like, hey, I'm happy to buy stock off you. Yeah, like sell me the stock then.
Yeah.
If you're so bearish, I'll buy it right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then it's kind of like, okay, so you're not going to do that. So then you don't actually believe what you're saying.
Bullish on us?
Yeah, literally, right? So that's a fun little mental model.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the FT article goes on to talk about the like uncertainty and how I'm facing like an unbelievable amount of uncertainty. Talking about the clashing with Trump administration, remains in active litigation against the US Department of Defense. They've been forced to briefly pull its leading model, Fable 5 and Mythos 5, after being hit with export controls. Customers are also extremely sensitive to the price of accessing the best models. Faced with spiraling costs, they have in some cases reversed directives for employees to maximize their AI use and opted for less powerful, cheaper models. Anthropic's market-leading model costs more than 2.5 times as much as to use OpenAI's flagship. I knew it was more expensive. I didn't realize it was 2.5 times. Chinese open weight models alternatives, they've also improved dramatically this year, are a fraction of the cost, according to Artificial Analysis, which analyzes AI models. So like they're just being hit from like all these different sides, but they're still just ripping. Anthropic increased its market share among US businesses last month, according to data from payments group Ramp. So they're still, with all this thing happening in the Chinese models, 2.5 times more expensive than OpenAI's models, which are like the second most expensive. Anthropic is still increasing market share in US businesses. Yeah. Analysts at the company found that the businesses were hitting their limit on AI spend and turning to cheaper alternatives. I just don't think that that's like... that has any play with a company that's growing so quickly. An Anthropic investor said, it's easy to come up with these challenges, said an Anthropic investor who also has backed AI groups, including OpenAI and SpaceX, which went public at 1.77 trillion in June. But the company continues to be in first position in performance, positioning, and what people want exposure to. So I think like narrative-wise, which I'm still very surprised about, narrative-wise, Anthropic is like very much winning, and that's, I think, not, obviously Dario has hired the right people to make sure that they're building the correct products and are giving people the exposure that they want from an AI product. But Dario has not been doing the best job in terms of his narrative. But that's, I think, actually weirdly pulling into his personal narrative as like, but Anthropic feels like it's separate from Dario almost.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't need,
like OpenAI feels very closely like linked to Sam.
Yeah.
Whereas Dario is just like, he's almost like feels like narratively he's hindering the narrative of Anthropic. But Anthropic's product, as you say, is like so good, it doesn't even matter, and they're still kind of being seen as this, the first performance-wise positioning, all of this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's very interesting, and it seems very, very resilient, which is really exciting.
When it's that good, you can kind of do what you want. It comes back again. Do what you want when you pop in.
Indeed. Indeed.
To the point where you can just tell everyone, hey, this is going to potentially destroy the world.
Yeah.
But, if it's that good, everyone's like, give me more. Give me more of that good stuff.
Give me more of the good stuff.
Love it.
Let's talk about another great company, Legora.
Before we do Legora, I want to tell you about another great company, and it is MetaView. Nice. It's the AI agent for winning teams, agentic recruiting platform built for the radically efficient hiring end-to-end, source, engage, hire better, with agents that truly get your brief. That is MetaView.ai. Legora, Bobora. They are seeking some money. We're not sure how much yet. At a $10 billion valuation. This was a scoop from the FT. And it's good to see. Anytime, I love the cat and mouse with Legora and Harvey. I love the cat and mouse, and it's necessary. Like, it's kind of a winner takes all market. If someone does something, the other kind of has to do it as well. But it's nice to see them back in the rungs. We are going to be chatting to some of their team soon, actually. So stay tuned for that. More to come. As everyone knows, we've collected the Legora Infinity Stones here at ETN. We have done the full C-suite. We love those guys over there. Always doing good work. But this is from FT. It was a scoop from Ivan Livingston, who is the scoop king of and Richard Milne. Ivan Livingston, very vocal on X. He's the scoop king for everything that you need over there. He says legal AI startup Legora is looking to raise funds at a valuation roughly double the 5.6 billion it achieved only 4 months ago. In a sign of the intense interest in artificial intelligence companies powering professional services. These guys are growing so insanely fast, like so insanely fast. I remember when they announced their last round, and even that was like, hold on. Like they were in YC in like 2020.
Are they not the fastest growing company ever?
3 or 4? Fastest growing company ever with a sales force. Yeah.
Nice.
Lagora YC, they were like, what YC batch were they in? Just to give you a sort of understanding of the scale, I think 2023 was winter 2024 was the YC batch that they were in. So, and there was like a rebranding situation that went down. I think they used to be called Leia, I think, and then switched it to Lagora about a year in. But just like take that winter 2024, now looking at a 10 billion valuation, European company as well, right? So that's what, 2 years going from 0 to 10 billion in 2 years. It's like we live in different times. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, this would be crowned as one of the most insane companies. I mean, maybe in Europe, definitely, but like it's just the growth is insane, and we've seen so many more of these, right? Like,
how old is Harvey?
I think they've been around a little bit longer.
I mean, they're the same stage-wise, I think, but they were in talks to raise a $15 billion valuation, I think.
So they were 2022. And it's funny because it is literally US-Europe battle, right? Lagora will just dominate Europe, Harvey will dominate the US, and then like at some point...
Lagora have made a huge push into the US, haven't they? Right?
Like, that was off the back of the last round when we had them on. I think they were called, David was calling in
from well, they have I think they're I don't want to say their biggest office is in New York, but I think I would imagine it is because of the prowess of US law. Law firms are jostling to get ahead of the AI race, with some opting to build their own models rather than relying on third parties. Kirkland & Ellis, the world's largest law firm, said in May that it would build its own AI platform instead of relying on tools available to competitors. The US law firm has partnered with tech groups, including Palantir. However, Lagora chief executive Max Unstrand told the FT in June that he did not think it was a buy or build decision and that firms should just utilize the best stuff that exists, he says. He is attempting to position Lagora as a European AI champion in the face of so many dominant US AI players. Lagora is growing rapidly, having increased its annual recurring revenue by 50% to $150 million in the second quarter this year. Compared with the first, it is also planning to do more than double its employee numbers from 700 to 1,500 by the end of the year, as its customers, such as law firms and in-house legal teams, just have risen by a quarter to 1,500 in 3 months. So they are just like, they're crushing. Obviously, we had the Lovable news yesterday. Raising at a $13.3 billion valuation, a little bit older than Lagora, just raised $400 million. Insane. So, and these both have come out of Sweden, both incredible companies. It'll be interesting if they can make this happen.
Yeah, the powerhouses of Europe. I think we may have Harvey team members joining us actually on the show next week. But I would love to host both founders maybe one day and just see, because they do kind of go at it a little bit. I know Max sometimes shoots a couple shots. Shots fired! Would love this little thing. I know Max shoots a couple shots sometimes. Like there was a joke, and he posted this on LinkedIn maybe or X. He didn't used to do too much stuff on X, but he posted a clip of him saying there was an internal joke at Lagora. And I don't know how true this is. This is just what they posted online. But there was an internal joke at Lagora about how internally they call Max the CPO of Harvey, because he'll like come up with a product or a feature internally, and then Harvey would find out about the product and then like remake it and go do it. Yeah. But I mean, like, it's very natural.
Surely that happens the other way around.
Yeah, 100%, right?
When they're in direct competition.
Yeah, they're literally going neck and neck. Yeah. It's like, who's gonna, and for global domination, I'd be interested to chat to someone who like maybe knows a little bit more about the space itself. But can there be two winners here? You know, it was probably winners takes all.
I think the market is big enough that it can. But it depends who gets the big hitters. So like a Kirkland & Ellis, they're obviously off building their own model because they have the infrastructure and the money, and they can do something like pair with like a Palantir. Mm-hmm. But then you've got not small law firms, but smaller than a Kirkland and Ellis, kind of
Big,
sitting in that
still.
very, very large law firms that they don't want to go and build their own models. Maybe they don't have the cash flow, or maybe they are happy just building
time.
Yeah, and that's obviously like where they're playing. But I think like the winner will be the ones that get those, and then the loser per se will be the one that the smaller law firms can't maybe get to the most premium.
And you look at like the ACVs on the most premiums, probably like there's probably a power law at play where
huge.
One of them is worth 20 of the minimum. You'd rather just go and.
But at the moment it sounds like it's all to fight for, considering they both have equally as much amount of growth and money to be able to pour into getting those huge ACVs.
Yeah. And I remember seeing some back and forth on the timeline actually. It's like Matt Miller and Paul Graham. I think 'cause Paul Graham is in Harvey, and Matt Miller is in Lagora, and then there was a back and forth around like
why.
I can't remember how it started, but there was a little bit of detail,
I think PG put one of them put a tweet out, and the other one like just standard stuff, and then the other one like came out with a bit of heat, and it just started this back
a bit of a
forth.
data war on growth.
That
had kickstarted a little bit.
So funny when your investors are fighting like publicly on X. I don't know how much you would feel like. Would you feel uncomfortable about that? I don't know.
They're in my corner. It's kind of. I think that's kind of like. And look, they go at each other's. They do like Max and Lagora.
But they were going for the narrative thing, right? The big picture stuff. They weren't like talking about the numbers here, there, and everywhere.
It's never personal. It's never.
But they were talking about like Harvey are going for. This particular kind of like problem, and this is how they're solving it. Lagora solving it in a little bit of a different way. But yeah, I'm hearing that we have our first guest in the show. Let's bring Josh in.
Let's get him. Let's get him onto here. Josh.
Oh man, I feel left out.
Let's go.
How are guys? How's it going?
I'm good,
nice.
although
nice
I don't have a Corgi hat.
We'll have to get you on.
We need to hook Luke up. Obviously, it was only me and Max on the ground when we were running the in the field investigation, which funnily enough turned up no incidents. It was just a good time. A lot of lovely smoothies, a lot of people hacking away. We left with inconclusive results, unfortunately, or maybe conclusive as to the fact like there were no incidents. But it was great to do the report. Thank you for joining us. Maybe could you give us a breakdown of the Corgi Cafe for those who don't really know, like how much work this thing took to stand up? I know we chatted offline a little bit, but I think maybe good to share with everyone at home.
Yeah, of course. I guess from the top, those who don't know Corgi. We are an AI financial infrastructure business, and the core thing that we do is insurance. And we sort of came up with the concept of launching these cafes earlier this year in San Francisco, where our home base is, because Nico and Emily, our founders, figured that there wasn't really a place for people to build 24/7. And so it was our way of giving back to the community. And it's become this thing that, we now want to sort of emulate across multiple locations. And we have a few more sort of in the pipeline. But yeah, Shoreditch is sort of the first one that we have here in London. And the reason behind it is, Shoreditch, first of all, is a great startup hub here in London. And it's very close to our office. And so, it was this sort of very exciting thing that we could get together. Our team, we probably had some of the most overqualified, sort of cafe builders. We had like ex-YC founders, like one of the guys on my team, Brian, who, sort of got his hands dirty and helped us build it out. And Claudia, who's head of community here in London. We had the whole team out painting it one weekend, getting some very strange looks from the cars, people screaming, "You guys missed the spot," which was just the thing we kept hearing as we were painting the exterior. But it was a great time. And, obviously, like, really grateful for the turnout on Saturday. We had, over 1,200 people sign up. And I would say, in terms of people that showed up, there was at least, 600 people, which was great.
Let's go. Love to hear it, man. When I was there on the ground with Max, we were chatting a lot about and you hinted at it there, like the need for somewhere to work 24/7. For people there are some people that want to do that. There are some people that don't want to do that. That's absolutely fine. What is the thinking here in terms of like creating this hub for that's always on? Because I was quite surprised you even got permission to do that.
Yeah, especially in London.
Yeah. But like, in fact, wait, can we start on how you got that permission? Because it's actually a really cool story. I'm not sure. Can you share that? Is that okay?
Yeah. So being able to like be open all the time is a bit tough in London, knowing sort of like the environment. But it's us working with the council. We're still in the process of really locking it down. But in the meantime, we are just going ahead with it. And yeah, working with the neighbors, working with the community, and making sure that it's a safe space for not just the people joining us, but also the surrounding community is super important. So yeah.
Dude, so cool that you managed to spin that up. Give us a sense for like, what does this mean? What is the future? You hinted at a few things as to like what is next for the rollout, let's say. Give us an idea of like how you guys are thinking about this, how you guys are looking at the next few build outs, let's say.
Yeah. Cool. So I mean, the cafes are really just like the first piece of us coming into the UK and Europe more broadly. We have a few more in the pipeline, and we keep everyone posted when those are ready, and we expect them to be done very soon. And then the broader plan is for us to obviously extend our services as an insurance carrier into the UK and into the EU. And our mission here is to really be able to insure as many people as possible, right? I think people are very aware of us offering insurance to startups, but we actually work across multiple verticals, the other regions. So, very exciting stuff. The team's working very hard outside of just the cafe. But yeah, it's definitely an easy place for us to interact with the potential people that we're looking to protect in the long run as well.
Yeah, it's such a smart way to kind of enter a market. I wanted to ask you about the kind of like the way people are, kind of spinning up these incredible ideas for GTM, right? Like everyone is saying building products is easier than ever, but getting distribution for those products is ever harder, right? So what's the like... What's your thesis about like the GTM for Corgi? I know you don't really, that's not your specific role, but like how is the kind of general idea around GTM for the Corgi team? Because this is, I think, one of the most unique ways to kind of pull a GTM stunt that I think is going to do incredibly well for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, once again, like it's a real place that we can interact with customers or meet them.
Yeah.
Even though the purpose is just to build a place for them to work. We also have like these interesting drink partnerships that we have, right? That we can work with some like massive brands, the likes of Gill, 11 Labs, and it's just another place for other startups to promote their brand. And it's like this really interesting crossover. And we really believe in the permanent space. Like obviously, a lot of people have thought of like these sort of cafes, and I won't name who, but we think that short-term sort of locations are not as fun as sort of permanent ones. And these partnerships and people just supporting us through coffees keeps the space alive, right? And even if it's not us directly benefiting from it, it's other founders meeting each other and saying, hey, can we meet at the Corgi Cafe? And it just keeps us sort of at the top of people's minds, which we're very grateful for as well.
Yeah,
did you guys plan to almost, because it's now a bit of a meme in a way, like it seems to be very
you were trending for like 4 days.
Yeah. Did you guys, what were the initial reactions to the meme plays that were made out of this?
Yeah, I mean, Twitter's a funny space when people sort of take things and run with it, like that tweet you guys were running off in terms of like the protein cycle one. I thought the whole bit was so funny, and like Max in lifetime watching him do that video was hilarious. And I mean, overall, it's a positive thing, right? In the sense that people know who we are, and like we get questions like, what does Corgi actually do? And it gives us that opportunity to be in like a public forum and say, hey, well, this is what we're really trying to build.
Opens the conversation.
Exactly. We're trying to build faster, better insurance for all types of industries, and that's really the mission here is build stronger financial infrastructure and really allow insurance to be changed, which it really hasn't changed for thousands of years if you really think about it.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was going to say, do you think there are ways that you guys like? How are you thinking about like? Yes, you're kind of like getting people in the door and like conversations are being started. Do you think you guys will ever need to kind of push a more like strategic? Hey, let's, I don't know, put like QR codes or whatever it is, like to get people kind of like feeling the product or using the product? Do you think there's more of a strategic way to kind of use the cafe, or do you think it's just generally like, great keeping things, keeping Corgi on the front of people's minds?
Yeah, I think the cafe is just like an opening for us, right? It's just like if you really want to get like funnily, it's like a bit of like a funnel in many ways, but yeah, I think a lot of the conversations that happen are super organic. It's just us being there, like, I'll work like an hour or two there every day, seeing people come in, have a conversation with them. And there's no sort of like obligation of, hey, like you should definitely use our product, right? There can be like really high level conversations of like deeper partnerships where our insurance could exist in other people's platforms and where it makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, no, like we're not trying to force our product onto our customers, right? It's just really that they're comfortable with us, they trust us. Like insurance is massively built on trust, right? Like if a claim ever happens, you want your insurance company to be someone you trust. So this is just a way of us like sort of building that and bridging that gap.
Yeah, this joke, like I caught up with the guy in our that we work with occasionally, VP, who's been supporting us for a little bit, and we had a call yesterday, and he joined the call from the Corgi Cafe, and I didn't know he was there. And it was quite funny when I jumped on to chat to him after the show yesterday, and he was like, I could see it in the background, which is really funny. So it seems like it's becoming quite a hotbed. Maybe like a different angle. You guys are incredibly good at these like stunts, I guess, and I would put the cafe into the stunt bucket. There was one, was it the fashion catwalk thing in the, that was genius. Like it went super, super viral. Another example of like how like internet native you guys take the marketing element, I think, which it gets loads of impressions, it works, it spreads the Corgi name. Maybe like just speaking towards that a little bit, like I'm not saying that you maybe were involved in it, but just like that as an element, like, seems to be quite Corgi coded, like it seems to be something that you guys do incredibly well, a lot better than a lot of these other companies that are popping up. How do you guys think about these internally? Like, how do you think about these experiments or these stunts internally?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like there's two people like in particular that sort of help us lead that, and that's like obviously Brooke, who's super active on Twitter, and I'm sure lots of people know, and also Erica, our head of brand. I think under them like there's a killer team that are just like really willing to try things and sort of interact with people and sort of try and spot where we can interact with like our potential partners and so forth. So yeah, I think it's just a lot of experimentation. I don't think it's like always super planned, right? I think we take action, a bias towards action, and so it's just like go and do it, right? And we'll see what happens. And it seems to be going all right so far.
Yeah. There was another thing that I saw that was not leaked, but like Brooke posted it around, and it got a lot of people talking around you guys have like an internal leaderboard, for I think it's impressions. I don't know if it's posts or impressions off posts. And I hadn't seen that anywhere else before. And I feel that like a lot of companies, I think Lovable, when we have the co-founder of Lovable coming on today, they used to have a very...
It's like beehive type thing.
Yeah, like employee-focused marketing of like just start putting stuff out in public. Like there's no real constraints around like what you can and can't talk about. It's very relaxed. It works very well, I think, in this type of era that we're in now as well. That is like, I think an interesting thing that would love to hear more about, like the leaderboard, is it impressions based, is it post based, and also how do you think the company like approaches that element? Could you have some very outspoken, like online, some individuals that do like incredible impressions all the time, and again, it just falls back into that marketing structure that seems to be working so well. And as I say, like many other companies do it well also, but I don't think they have like a leaderboard internally, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. So like, I mean, we didn't make the leaderboard. It's called Yappers. And so you can connect as a company into it. And Nico came out one day, I was like, hey, like, top Yapper gets to have like this prize and so forth.
Yeah.
Like shout out to Alex, for example, in our London office, who like doesn't necessarily have the largest following, but like his post for the cafe had like over 1 million. It just caught like the timeline really well. It had like over 1 million impressions, right? And I think that helped us launch into this cafe really well as well, and create a lot of momentum. And I think once again, it's just being able to try things. Nico gives us that freedom to really experiment and try things, and make some mistakes, and we learn from them. And I think that freedom gives us a lot of growth, and enables us super well.
Really cool, dude. I know we've got about 50 seconds left. What can we expect next? Where can we be excited? Like, what have you guys? I know there are a few more rollouts, but anything in particular that you guys are looking forward to?
Yeah, super excited for our European rollout, in a few months, and same with, the UK. And yeah, if anyone is US based at the moment and needs insurance, please reach out to us at corgi.com. We're always very happy to help.
Let's go, dude. So cool. Josh, thanks for joining us, man. Always good to see you, bro.
Really appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Awesome, dude. Ciao. Josh from the Corgi Cafe. The incident reports are in. And
They are.
There is nothing there. Just strong growth, excellent marketing, delicious smoothies, and a load of corgis. So, creatine cycle, the lead was cold. We investigated it. We took a guy down there. We tried to find out if it was real or not, but dead end, man. I know you also saw the tweet. Creatine actually replied saying, "I am cackling." I don't know whether that was a joke to the fact that we'd actually chased his lead, or he just enjoyed the video itself.
I think it's the fact that we actually made a thing about his tweet. He opened up a can of worms, and the can of worms had no worms in them. There was
laughing at us.
There was nothing there.
Laughing at our faces for chasing that.
Indeed.
Getting word, we've got our next guest coming into the studio, and this is fresh off the press after a 400 million raise just yesterday. We've got Fabian joining us, co-founder and CTO of Lovable. Fabian, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you here, sir.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Ooh, just
you can't hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
No,
We can hear you now.
All right.
How's
Thanks
it going,
for having
man?
Me. Great to be here. It's going great. How's
Good.
it going with you guys?
Yeah,
we're good.
Very good. Very
good. Congrats on the raise. That's incredible. Dude, give us the temperature check. How's everyone, feeling at Lovable? And yeah, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're always on top. I think the team is very focused, and this is a great milestone for us. But it's it's a quick celebration, and then it's back into it.
Yeah, it's back to work. Can you break the Series C down for us? Surprised it is. There's a lot of narrative around Europeans are on holiday during this month, but we're seeing some huge raises from you guys. We saw Cambridge Aerospace a few weeks back.
Yeah, Lagora, in talks for 10 million valuation.
Rumors of Lagora as well. The allegations have been beat. Could you just break down the Series C? Like, why now? Who's on the cap table? I saw Balderson came in as well. You've got the Scale Up Fund. You've got Menlo in there. Just an amazing group of investors. Would love to hear more about it.
Yeah. So we raised 400 million at 13.3 billion valuation, and we have Menlo coming backing us again, and then the European Innovation Council also has come in with the Scale Up Europe Fund, right? Which I find personally very very exciting to partner up with them. It's EQT that helps them manage that fund, and so it's a great kind of partnership for us to do more for Europe. As most of the people working at Lovable, we do it here from Europe, and we're very proud to do so.
Oh yeah, so cool, man. We've spoken many times on the show around the impact that you guys have had on the ecosystem specifically. We always reference 11 Labs as well in terms of the outspokenness and the founder-first profiles and the way that the employees also get involved to drive growth of the brand on socials, particularly X. It's like a very inherently viral product, what you guys have built, but layering on top of that, I remember when we spoke to Eleanor, the head of growth a while back, like kind of broke down some elements of that. How do you think about this internally? Would love to just gauge from your perspective, like, is that a strategic choice? Do you want everyone being outspoken? Was this decided at the start, like, hey, let's just make as much noise as possible all the time? Because, you said it yourself, we always feel like we're on top, and like on socials, you guys are always there. So would love to hear more.
Yeah, well, I think we have this technology, right? And our job, the way I see it, is that we can put it into the hands of the many, right? We can make sure that people have access to it, and part of that work is to make sure that people know about it. And the other part is making it easy to adapt and understand and use. And so, we put a lot of work into making sure that Lovable is an easy platform, an intuitive platform to use, while also extremely powerful, which is the combination that previously when building software, it was very hard to combine ease of use with kind of power usage of your tool. But now you can do both. And when it comes to our strategy of like reaching a lot of people with this, as you point out, word of mouth is our biggest growth factor. And it's this amazing thing where you build something on Lovable, you've done something creative, you tell people about it, and that is in that sense how we grow. And then on top of that, we also make sure that employees and anyone that wants to take part in kind of spreading the word on socials and press and whatnot can do that.
Yeah. One of the main things I was like super pumped about when I was reading about the news was the caliber of like customers that you guys have. Like it seems like from when you guys were founded, it was a very kind of consumer led kind of growth, and then you guys have moved really strongly into this like real incredible kind of resilient revenue of enterprise customers. Can you talk to us like about like the product itself and like how you feel teams are using the product better than than you thought could have been done when you started Lovable?
Yeah. So I started building kind of the first version of this back in 2023. And back then, the underlying technology, the foundation models we had at the time, GPT-4, it was, you could only do kind of basic things with it. And I think actually it's gone really quickly from that time. Like, okay, that's 3 years almost, or a bit more. But it took maybe a year or so before you could actually start building more complex applications. And I think the perception of what you can do is always lagging behind a bit of the actual technology. So the technology has moved extremely quickly, and we on the platform layer have also moved extremely quickly, making sure that we can spin up databases for you. We can do all of these things. We can run security scans for you, making sure you're kind of building in a safe and secure way. And so all of this adds up into that you can actually build amazingly powerful things. And so it's gone from people just building very simple, like interactive kind of prototypes to people building actual like SaaS businesses, SaaS products on our platform, and that has of course resulted in people creating successful outcomes, successful businesses where actually we have countless of examples across like founders, startups, SMBs, mid-market up to the Fortune 500, where I think over 2/3 now have employees of some sort on our platform, right? Wow. And so it's this incredible growth of where we just provide kind of these tools for people to create. And from that, they're able to not only create products and so on, but actually create successsul businesses.
Yeah, because what's fascinating is how horizontal you are in terms of like the market that you can cater to, as you mentioned, right? Yeah, you go from all the way down to kind of consumer customers who are building their own businesses on Lovable to like Fortune 500 who are building something to manage their teams or like to build their internal workflows for themselves and managing their job. What's the like? I assume that kind of gives you a lot of resilience to like the frontier labs, and they say, oh, we can you can build everything on our frontier lab, but what kind of sets like Lovable apart from that? Because I think this raises a key signal of like, okay, you guys are crushing on all sides, and I'm curious about like what's the why is that, like what is that like incredible part of the product that allows it to be so so well used in every part of the stack?
Yeah, so I would say there's two main things to this. One, I already mentioned briefly, which is like the intuitiveness of the product, right? That it's very easy to actually get into, to actually start using it, while you can also have kind of extreme power usage of the product. So you can actually create very complex things that only you could only do by kind of writing code before, but now we have an AI that can do it for you. And so that's one piece, right? And that requires a lot of iteration, right, with customers and actually learning from both data and kind of customer interviews and so on in how you should keep on evolving the product as you add more capabilities to remain intuitive. And so that's one piece. But then the second piece is that, as we are doing this at scale now, we can learn a lot about kind of which model works best, not only for even each message. Each message that you send to Lovable, it kind of gets broken down and orchestrated into sometimes hundreds of LM calls under the hood, and so being able to do that across providers, across models, and with a mix between what we train ourselves and what we do with our partners is really this unique position that we're putting ourselves in. And so there's that on the model piece, the intuitiveness part, and maybe the last piece I'll add here is that as opposed to these developer tools that kind of help you output code, the output of Lovable is not code. Like, sure, we write code for you and we handle that for you, but you're not looking at code, right? You're looking at the product that you're building. And more so, you're going to be looking at the business that you're building. And so that is where we're going, and that requires going deep in a lot of different areas, right? There's a lot of kind of services that you need to handle and set up for customers, because signing up for 20 different SaaS to build this thing, it doesn't really make sense when building it goes like that, And so going deep into this kind of services realm where we help you run and also grow the business that you're building, and in the end getting to a place where any business that is built on Lovable is more successful than if it would be built elsewhere.
Yeah, really
love
cool.
that.
This is kind of connected to that. We've touched on it a little bit, but would love to discuss growth rates, revenue run rate. I think we saw in the piece there's something around 600 million contracted, which is just insane. And the growth rate is something that I find personally really, really interesting, because again, it is an inherently viral product. You guys have built the viral coefficient into it. And I remember just a brief story of Siavash, who is now doing Stiller. He was an advisor at our old AI company, and I remember him putting out a photo of the really, really early days of him chatting to a few people, and they're talking about the hockey stick growth curve you have. And he sent it to it may have been an investor or someone that he knew, and that person replied, okay, yeah, this is a really cool graph, but show me what the paid users look like. These are obviously the free users. And Siavash replied to the guy and said no, dude, those are the paid users. That's the hockey stick graph for the paid users. So the growth's been there since day one. I'd love to know, has anything surprised you about the growth? Just how sort of, steep it's been, or what are we seeing right now?
Well, it's funny. It's Siavash is great, by the way. I love him. And since we started, it took maybe a year and 2 failed launches before we got any sort of traction, any real traction on our product. And since then, it's been really up and to the right. And I think it's sometimes, I try to tell the team, and we try to be very humble about it, in that there's no guarantee about this stuff, and we really need to take it extremely seriously, what we're doing for our customers, and making sure that we keep on providing value for them. And so we take that very seriously, and I think it's never a given, but it's kept on going. And I think we're doing more and more to not only help people, build their product, right, where we receive a lot of revenue from that, sure, but more and more it's getting to a place where we can move into more of this kind of value-based pricing, where actually we can help you run and grow, and we can prove that we're providing this value for you, and that is where more and more of the revenue will come from in the future.
Yeah. So interesting. I know we've only got 3 minutes left. This is a huge raise. What is the focus right now? We saw there were expansion plans. We saw that you guys want to significantly increase the team as well. What is it that's sort of first on the docket for you guys now? How is this cash going to be spent? What's top of mind?
Yeah. So I mean, it's a mix between serving our users with the best quality models that are available on the market, and making sure that we build the best team, and can make sure that we can attract the best talent in the world to come and build that platform for us. So we're expanding in usage all over the place, and we're building out all of these new services. So that's maybe the main thing that is going to be evolving, right? Where actually, the build part, we're going to keep on investing heavily into that. But beyond that, you're going to get all of these services that can help you, as I've said, run and grow your business. And so that will require deep investment from our side to make sure that we can provide all of that seamlessly to our customers.
Okay, interesting. So it's almost like a full stack kind of idea, I guess, like the OS of building.
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
You
So
need to.
the idea is that you not only come here to kind of build a product, but you actually come here, and 80% of our users have this intent. They come here to build a company.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure they are successful in building their company, and that can mean anything from like helping them do their accounting around it, helping them receive payments, helping them maybe test like different ideas they have, and actually help them actually challenge their ideas too. Right. Where you kind of have this thought partner, this co-founder, or this operator, right, that you can work with, and you can consider Lovable that partner.
Yeah.
Okay,
really
interesting.
Cool.
Is that through? Do you think that's through like partnership stuff, or is that like you build, say like to help with accounting, you build it on Lovable natively?
Yeah, so I mean, the core of what we care about is that it's easy for our customers to use it and that it's seamless, so they don't have to think about kind of using tons of different services. But a lot of this will come from partnerships with other companies who are great at doing this. We'll just integrate it in the product so that you as a user, you might see that, it's this partner kind of helping us provide the service for you. But it's totally seamless in that you just ask Lovable the agent for it, and then we kind of provide it for you, and you have put your credit card in one place, and you don't really have to have any cognitive overload beyond building your ideas and taking that into reality.
Yeah,
really cool.
That's so smart.
I know we are coming up to time. One final question is just around like your role as CTO as well. Maybe you have a lot more sort of exposure to this internally. How are you reacting to essentially like the early stages of this like commoditization element of the models with open source releases? We're seeing like a lot of enterprises are very, very happy to start dabbling with them. You don't have to token max. You can maybe just bring in something that's a lot more efficient at a much better price point. Have you guys maybe looked at like sort of leaning on open models recently at all?
Yeah, so I mean, we use everything from frontier models to open weight models and like our own models, and being able to in our position route between them. And I would claim that we probably have like the most advanced router in our space to be able to select for a given task which model do you want, because you always want this trade-off between cost, quality, and speed, right, of what you're doing. So being able to be smart about where you route requests and kind of sub-agents working underneath that request is of extreme value for us. And I think having more players in the space building models, be it closed source or open source, is great for us, being on the application layer and being able to tune some of these models and also just being able to use them off the shelf. And that just ends up in more value for our customers in the end. So I think it's a great development of the space, and I hope that it kind of stays competitive from both the frontier side and the open source side, which it seems like it's doing.
Yeah, awesome, dude, so cool. We are out of time, but
you guys are killing it.
We'll let you go. I'm sure.
All right,
got a busy
thanks so
day
much,
ahead of
guys.
you. No worries,
thanks so
man.
much.
Cheers, Fabian. Appreciate your time.
Okay, see ya.
See you, dude.
See you later.
Boom, Lovable, back in the house. Not that they ever went away, but wow, 400 million. 13+ billion valuation.
Crushing.
A lot of cash.
As they say.
A lot of cash.
They are
Frontier
crushing.
European company. Nice to get that
I
one
love
in.
that. I think we were saying it yesterday, right? Like the horizontal nature of the product that they're building is just like, they can be the OS of building whatever you need to build.
Like company building,
tool building, whatever it is, like small, big. But then, I think they're going deeper into the consumer side with building everything you need to build a company.
Yeah.
And they'll just go and kind of attach themselves or attach other things that, the frontier of accounting and, I don't know, whatever it is, marketing, whatever, to building Lovable, and then everything else on the enterprise side. Very, very smart, exciting, and congrats to the investors as well, because I think you guys have got a steal.
There's one thing that we didn't, I wish I'd actually asked him a bit more on, but the consumer side of things, the customers that are making, and we've seen Anton do a load of posts about this particular
consumers making lots of money. Yeah.
And I think that
what was that example?
I was on a while back with the framed dog photos.
Framed dog photo was making
AI.
I don't know, 20 grand a month or something.
They were making loads of cash, and they were doing it all on Lovable.
Probably more actually.
There was, but I think it's such an interesting thing when you create a product that's able to generate money like for someone else in a manner that's I'm not like saying it's easy to go on there and build something. It's a lot easier to do it for someone who's not tech native than it would be for them to like even hop onto Claude Code or something like that. It'd still be relatively difficult if you were fresh, like not really in the space, but that interface is a lot more intuitive. That's what Fabian mentions, like they're looking at the thing being built, so it's less like, okay, no, that code might be wrong, or have you tried this? More like, ooh, I would like that box to be over here. Yeah. Like, and I remember when I was a kid, like, I would spend ages trying to, maybe when I was like 12, a bit older, like 15, probably like 14, 15, it'd be like going with these website builders that were just like dreadful, the worst types of things. It would try and make you one, it couldn't really do it. And then, but imagine if you had that when you were younger, like something inherently like a lot of people that sit in your space, like they not to Diary of a CEO it up, but like sold sweets in school or like had like some sort of mini business, like.
And you could create your own CRM of sweets.
But yeah, you'd probably take it a bit further maybe, but like, like wouldn't that be like give it to a really entrepreneurial kid right now?
Yeah.
I wonder what they're coming up with. And I assume there's probably quite a lot of them. Like obviously parents maybe purchasing it on their behalf. I don't know how that would work, but
indeed. Well, look, we're very lucky to live in this time. It's exciting.
It is. It's very exciting. Let me tell you what else is exciting. It's Hex. It's the analytics platform Hex. AI analytics platform where trust meets insight. Hex helps teams of all sizes by giving teammates the ability to get insights from their data wherever they work. That's hex.tech if you guys want to go see what they're doing. Next
Killer
on
company.
the docket, our next guest won't be coming in till 2 p.m. That is Harjot Gill. I'll pull up the Airwatch agenda here just so we can see that again. Harjot Gill, CEO and co-founder at CodeRabbit. They just raised a Series C round. And it was pretty chunky. They had Big Head from Silicon Valley headline that launch video. 143 million Series C at a 1.5 billion valuation to build the control layer for software change. Following that, we have Larissa Schneider coming in, CEO and co-founder at Unframe. A little bit about what we're going to be discussing with them. AI adoption, AI dissolving into the general population. We want to talk about declining dependency on FDEs. And Unframe specifically will help enterprises eliminate operational bottlenecks and capture business value of AI. We're going to be digging into a lot of stuff around AI transformation as well. But that is Larissa Schneider, CEO and co-founder at Unframe, joining us after Harjot. And then 2:45, we've got Alex Mashrabov, CEO and co-founder at Higgsfield. And boy, have they been heating up the timeline with their 2-hour-long first ever AI feature film. Cursor of video AI, many are calling it, but potentially I want to give Higgsfield a bit more.
Well, Cursor,
Cursor, Higgsfield.
They're good. They're good. It's not bad.
No. But I want to give Higgsfield their own thing. Like scaling from 0 to 500 million revenue run rate in just 15 months. Damn, these guys know how to cook. Super excited to jump into that conversation. Let's go back to the news. What is going on at the moment on
Interesting
the timeline?
Story about Mr. Hassabis, or Sir Demis Hassabis in the Wall Street Journal.
Sir Demis,
DeepMind's Hassabis picked AI oversight body before shakeup.
I just want to say, he just is the guy.
He's the guy.
He just is the guy. He's safety cautious. He's got the mental capability and the talent to be at the frontier. He cares about humanity. He cares about science. He doesn't care about money.
He's the number one.
Turned down $1 million bucks when he was like 16 to go and pursue science.
Turned down $1 billion from a Facebook, to go into Google, which he thought was a good decision. And it was. Alphabet's Google top scientist, Demis Hassabis, held discussions with government officials and leaders of other artificial intelligence labs about forming a new independent industry safety entity in the weeks before he relinquished his role as chief executive of Google DeepMind. According to people familiar with the matter, Hassabis, who co-founded Google DeepMind, as we all know, and is considered a pioneer in the field of machine learning, has been spending increasing amounts of his time advancing the idea of an organization that would codify safety guardrails and best practices for developing artificial general intelligence, or AGI. These people said, in discussions with peers, he has likened the proposed entity to the International Atomic Energy Agency, a non-governmental watchdog that promotes cooperation on nuclear energy. Earlier this summer, Hassabis discussed aspects of his plan with high-ranking Trump administration officials, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Michael Kratsios, one of the president's top tech advisors. People familiar with the matter said.
This thing, he's been trying to do this for so long. He's always been trying to set up committees, like even in the early days of like, and to be fair, other people have as well. Early days of OpenAI, a lot of that was like, let's set up some sort of oversight committee. How can we do this properly?
But he's always been trying to do something that's like, like he figures out what's vital to society before going to do it, and then he goes and does the thing that's vital to society. And that's very much what people were talking about, how, the framing of him being like, oh, AGI is really close, I'm going to go focus on the research now. Don't really believe it. I think it was more of a Google DeepMind and Google kind of like, relationship feud and whatever. I disagree, man. I think I honestly think like he is the one man who would say, relinquish his CEO-ness and go and focus on the research. Now, AGI is close. Yeah. So I think all of that kind of like weirdness around whether, he was just leaving because there was a bit of a spat with direction.
I think a lot of it was like...
It was like, no, I'm going to go focus on...
resources to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which may have been causing the spat. It seems like they were just going down that commercial route. And to be fair, like...
Well, they have.
Can you blame them? Like, Google going down the commercial route? Like... Maybe they just see, hey, we're not going to win this race. That's just, our thing is printing. Sundar, CEO's like, my job is to make this company super profitable, do super well, stay the course. So like, that's probably a fair conversation to have internally. But I remember seeing reports around like, he was moved off of the Gemini team months prior to this. Yeah. He's not really been there focusing on any of the developments. Gemini 4 completely delayed, saying 2027 release date right now. Everyone at DeepMind's had a huge morale hit. One, because Google initially had some workings with the Department of War, completely going against like what Hassabis had stood on business on early days with the acquisition, putting in like, this acquisition will only go through if you sign to never work on offensive technology, or like biological warfare, or like cybersecurity, offensive cybersecurity, which I think it was construed in a way that they've kind of gone back on that, probably damaging the relationship, and yeah, like just like the guy's just always, he's so conscious about safety throughout the whole thing. I just don't know how, if you were to line everyone up, Hassabis, Dario, Sama, Musk, I guess we'll just put mention there as well, I guess. Obviously, I love Arthur. I love Arthur, of course, but frontier AI companies. Who would you choose to have the keys to AGI?
Yeah,
it's Demis every day. Surely it's Demis every day.
Demis every day.
Yeah. I just feel that it has to be Demis every day. And yeah, the safety stuff, he's been pushing this for ages. Like the conversations were stemming all the way back to pre-Google era, even when OpenAI was set up. Like there's emails of him emailing Musk and Sam Altman, like back in the day. Like I think one of them particularly was Musk, where he's like, hey, like I see you spouting all this stuff online. Like I'm not sure if you like truly believe these inherent like particular risks to society as a whole with regards to like pushing AI to the frontier. Like just checking that do you believe these? I would love to chat about this with you. I actually disagree with you, and I would love to, set up a place that we can have some discourse around this and try and get there. And it's just like, bro has time for that. Like he's like, hey, just wanted to drop in here. Like this doesn't look that safe.
We go drop some source.
I also disagree with you. Like would love to discuss your points on how you think this is going. It's just like very, very cool. And
I think I think it's the time to have some form of like standards body, and maybe it's industry funded. People are like these hyperscalers would go fund a standards body to make sure that pacing isn't a thing. Like I think a lot of people were for pacing, but then a lot of people were not for pacing, and I think the pacing conversation would not be really a thing if there was some form of standards body where, you had to go through a certain, you had to go through that body to regulate, the kind of like safety of AI. I think, it would be beneficial in my opinion.
Yeah. And we're seeing as well, like just even to highlight this a little bit more, like Sergey Brin is essentially trying to rally the troops. He's trying to rally the troops over at DeepMind currently, saying we're going to push more and as many resources as we possibly can into recursive learning. Like they want to try and find that recursive loop. And it's like, I find that interesting because it's like, okay, well, if you wanted, I feel like there's a disattachment from Sergey and maybe Sundar as well. Like Sergey is probably just post money enough that he's just so pilled on like, let's just get AGI. But then Sundar's, making these more commercialized.
Yeah, but he's
decisions.
running Google. So.
Yeah, I mean, Sergey, like, surely Sergey could just be like, hey, don't do that. Like, I'm obviously the man. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, he's put the CEO in place, but like, ultimately, he probably calls the shots, right?
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know what happens that kind of high up, to be honest. But
true.
I don't know. Like, as a CEO, your job is to increase shareholder value, right? Like that is. Yeah. Everyone needs to be rowing the boats in that way. And it's now got to this arms race of compute, and the commercial side of Google was wanting compute, and so was the research side. Someone like a Demis would argue more of the compute needs to be put into the research, considering AGI, and once you hit it, that's when the commercial side kind of comes into play. But then you've also got this like behemoth of it's a public company. Businesses are profit-making machines, and Google wants profits. And so, these companies are compute constrained. They're grabbing compute from a bunch of other they're selling their compute to Anthropic as well. So it's like, hey, like why we need it.
There's
why? So there was all of that kind of, that was like a second tier of an argument of this kind of like arms race, and it kind of created a bit of a weird pool of lots of different things going on. It was,
and like Nick
strange.
said a really good point when we had him on the other day. That was like, they are a public company. They are not meant to be a frontier lab, and it's interesting to compare that with SpaceX. Right?
That's the thing, right? That's what that should technically be their calling, right? That should be their focus.
Go do the thing that you're really good at. Just dominate that. Choose what lane you want to stick in. You had a pop at this.
Like the frontier lab stuff is pretty out of the way. I think for someone like a Sundar who is building this profit making machine. It's not a frontier lab.
It's like when Nick was saying like it's a publicly listed company, you can't be a frontier lab. I think now we kind of have to evolve past that because
of the Anthropic.
We're with SpaceX.
True. Yeah.
If they're putting this up, but then again, it's like look at the cultures, right? Like Google's culture, gym in there. I mean, SpaceX probably have like beautiful offices and like loads of food, obviously.
Why bring it into the gyms?
But like, I'm just saying, it's just like a night. Like they have gyms, they have sleeping pods, they have.
SpaceX has tents in the office.
But like SpaceX, traditionally more of like we're gonna work all weekend, all the time, and like you either love that or you hate that.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I don't think Google's as. I think Google might be a little bit more like come in at 10, leave at 4, like gym trip also included there. Then DeepMind would be separate to that. I think there's probably got a lot more grinders there, but I would imagine maybe they're not grinding out as hard as they are at the Frontier Labs.
I don't know.
I think it would trickle down from the culture at Google. It's Google owned.
Yes, but like, they're very separate. And Demis has been
as well.
Demis has been very, very different like countries.
But they have a Google office here.
They do, but like a Google employee would not go into the DeepMind office.
They're not allowed.
Exactly.
DeepMind can go in there, but
it's completely different. It's a completely different company. But they have it's a completely different company with different philosophies of how to work and kind of cultures and all of this kind of stuff. But it's tied with this compute key, and both researchers need that compute key, and also the profit-making machine needs that root key, that compute key. Yeah. And so, because it's a public company, it isn't a frontier model company. It's not a frontier model provider. That's not its pure it's not pure frontier model provider. So, it kind of has to go to the shareholders at the end of the day. What are you doing this for? You are doing this to increase shareholder value. I guess you could argue Demis is playing the long-term game where he is increasing shareholder value if they're able to reach AGI before the other frontier model providers. But that's a bet that Sundar needs to make, and he's made. Nope, we are focusing on commercialization of our Gemini model now, not with the promise of an AGI moment.
Then we have Sergey Brin say we're putting all resources into recursive learning, which completely counteracts everything that we've been saying previously on like that commercialization route. That would not. Well, I mean, it could be, I guess, if they unlock it, right? But like, if they were doing that at the start, then Demis would stay. I feel so. Like that to me is interesting.
Yeah. Then again, he wants to work on the science, so let him go.
I just think he wants to. I think he's like shedding the chains. He's evolving into his next evolution. Yeah. And we're going to see founder mode Demis come back.
Let's go.
Which
tweeting
we haven't
Demis
seen since Demis at the Corgi Cafe, which is pretty interesting to see.
Yeah. Let's talk about another frontier company, McDonald's.
Before we do that, I want to talk about another frontier company. It's 11 Labs. We all know and love them. AI that communicates at human level across every channel and modality. Deploy conversational agents across every customer interaction and create on-brand content at scale in 70 languages. Go to 11labs.io to get a hold of all that good stuff.
11 Labs are really a frontier company.
McDonald's also?
Less so. I don't know.
I'd say McDonald's
McDonald's built a 515-page dossier on me. It says, I'll never stop eating there. Fun.
This was a interesting one. So McDonald's have this isn't surprising, they have a data pool to train, what are their consumers purchasing? How can we learn from these consumers' purchases? How can we potentially predict the next consumer purchase? How can we understand the data that we're getting from our customers? This was a piece in Wired that hit the timeline the other day. How can we sort of mathematically predict what our customers want? How can we algorithmically predict what our customers are going to buy for the next order? And then I assume, naturally, like anyone would, a company this large, how can we, arbitrage that information into making more money? Very, very standard. And this was like, when this hit the timeline, a lot of people was like, what the hell? Like, McDonald's are surveilling my data, like McDonald's are taking all my data. I was kind of just like, obviously, like, wait, hold on. Company lets you opt in or opt out to share your data of just being on their app to like make the product better. It's like very normal, very normal thing. And you can even
cookies.
I think you have to opt in. I think it might say it here.
This would be interesting.
Oh, so yeah. You have to sign up for its loyalty program, and then to sign up to the loyalty program, then it's fine. Like you get. He's like, hey, we'll give you this loyalty program if you give us a bit of your juicy data.
But data, I don't sound
fair
like
trade.
Also, the data is, it's not sensitive. It's what burger am I going to buy?
Yeah, but I think they actually take like quite a lot. Actually, I've fully gone through this.
Let's break it down.
I will say very quickly that I personally do not care about any of my data. Like cookies, things pop up, I'm accepting them all the time. Yeah, I don't even read it. I don't care.
Okay. Because I want personalized ads. I was saying to Alex this morning, I showed him a bike ad that I keep getting on my Wall Street Journal articles.
Oh, really?
Every single morning, I've had this same Chinelli bike pop up, and it's great. It's going to make me buy that Chinelli bike because it's a good bike.
See what my WSJ articles are.
I have a Google Workspace ad. That's good. I pay for a Google Workspace for the company. That's, I don't know, £300 a month or something.
Yeah, and mine's a market surge offer, 30 days for $24.95.
What is that?
The future of charting has arrived. 100 plus new technical indicators, fully customizable charts. Everything you need to trade like a pro. They must have heard about my
that is the worst.
Google stock dump, move all into SpaceX, do 40% in 4 days. Thank you, Wall Street Journal, for the compliment for seeing that I am now a day trader. I'm very flattered. I'm very flattered about that. You know what? I would never.
We are furthest.
I'm getting complimented with my ads. But let's talk about this article. It's very interesting. It caused a little bit of a stir on the timeline. I think many people were actually kind of for it in the end. If they can have a better experience with an app. Why not? This Wired journalist opted in for the loyalty program. They wanted McDonald's to use their data. And as we said earlier, that was an exchange of, I'm going to opt into the loyalty program, I'm going to get some benefits, but I'm also going to give up my data and let them, take all that data and do what they want with it. So he says, as a California resident, I have the legal right to access the data a company stores about you. So I decided to request the information from McDonald's to better understand what one of the major fast food companies is collecting about its customers. After a few days, I visited McDonald's privacy rights site and requested access. I received a 515-page file in my inbox with the iconic golden arches stamped across the top.
Nice.
I've also got an ad for Heinz Mayo here, which is pretty well placed, actually. Day trader who loves mayo is the profile that they've built up on me, which is great. So yeah, when the customers sign up for loyalty programs like the one offered through the McDonald's app, they might not fully realize the extent to which their data is being aggregated and used in predictive models. McDonald's secret sauce is really commercial surveillance, says Jeff Chester, executive director at the Center for Digital Democracy, a group that advocates for consumer protections. Privacy experts I spoke with said this level of detail may feel invasive, but it's fairly standard for how large companies in the US run their loyalty programs. I think you must be slightly naive to expect, like, I'm going to sign up to this loyalty program, and there's no buy-in from me. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I have to opt up. Like, there's a reason they're doing it.
Well, that's life, isn't it? Right?
Yeah,
like,
just,
it's
you
you can't just get everything.
Bud.
Yeah, you can't just get everything for free. Yeah,
I can't just get these loyalty programs for free. Who do you think you are? Give us all your data. This report contains specific pieces of a personal information about you that we're identified by searching McDonald's systems, which contain information about our customers. Read the report's intro. It was a lengthy and difficult to parse, so I used a generative AI tool to extract key information about verifying details
AGI pills
with the original document and reaching out to privacy experts. So they've got a chart here. They have what McDonald's calls it in one column, what my data says in the next column, and what that means. So just as a first example, estimated number of visits during the next 6 weeks, 2.16. What that means, how many times McDonald's expects me to return before mid-September. So this is like an understanding of like what are the types of things they're measuring. A second thing that they're measuring, estimated average order spend during the next 6 weeks, $13.49, which is like pretty good. Estimated total spend during the next 6 weeks is another element. Customer attrition likelihood, 0 for this guy. Potential odds I'll stop being a customer is for 0. So this guy
loves the golden arches.
Mackies, mate. Customer group based on historical transactions. He got CV2. What does that mean? McDonald's doesn't provide details about what this internal value tier means. So some stuff in there that you actually don't even know what it's being attributed to, which is interesting. Most transacted occasion time, food-led afternoon snack, on-the-go lunch in a rush. That was from McDonald's. This is what they've decided about this individual.
I love these categories.
They have like most visited location, recency, frequency, monetary derived top product, a large Diet Coke for this fella, and then a recency, frequency, monetary derived top product category, wraps, chicken. And that is the menu section that McDonald's expects this individual to order from. So
I would be awful. I mean, I don't have the loyalty program because I don't use McDonald's enough. But I would be awful. I have 0 correlation of data.
Or yours just like very random. You just kind of.
No, I don't go to the same. I don't think I've ever. Well, I have been to the same McDonald's, but like I don't go to one. I can't think of one McDonald's that I would ever go to all the time. There's one. Product changes all the time. See what I'm feeling. Standard. I think a lot of people will choose the same thing every time.
Yeah, I do that.
Do you think?
I do that.
And then that's basically. I mean, yeah. I mean, and then frequency, like how much I spend in, or like the potential of me spending, X amount of pounds in the next 6 weeks. You would never know. Absolutely never know. Maybe. Let me go £10. I'm going to spend £10 in the next 6 weeks at McDonald's. I might go on a night out, and I might want to McDonald's.
I rate you're the type of guy when he goes in there drops like 35 quid. You just get a huge fee.
Yeah, I do get, yeah. Maybe about 35 pounds is a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot of McDonald's, to be fair.
I'm saying 20, yeah.
Oh, that's chill.
That's all right.
Fine. Yeah, I'd say mine's probably around 20 something.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too bad.
I think we have Harjot in the studio.
We are getting word. We can pause the algorithmic predictions for McDonald's, and we will discuss some more important news. That is, CodeRabbit has raised some money. Harjot, how are we? Welcome to the show.
Hey, folks. Good to see you all.
Yeah, you too. You too. Congratulations are in order. Congratulations on the news. We saw the launch go out yesterday, and it really took over the timeline. The launch looks like it went incredibly well. Do you want to maybe share with us what the news is, and we can kick off?
We also have an Atomico Gill on right now.
Atomico Gill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, on that we were sent yesterday. So props to
props
the guys
to Atomico for getting in the round.
Yeah, they are coming and co-leading the round with Smash Capital. So we were proud to announce like a Series C round of funding. Like we raised $143 million in new capital at a valuation of $1.5 billion.
Let's go.
So officially a unicorn now.
Let's go. We love to hear it. Let's hit that. Unicorn status achieved. Congratulations to everyone internally.
Everyone in the studio is going absolutely wild for you guys. Congrats.
Let's dig into the raise itself. Why now? What does this mean for CodeRabbit? What is the focus going forward? And then we have a bunch of questions that we'd love to get into.
Yeah, wow, it's been like pretty much an amazing journey. CodeRabbit started around like 2.5, 3 years back. So we have been raising A, B, and C round kind of pretty much like at a 12-month gap between these rounds. And it's just because of the hyper growth we are seeing. As you folks know, the biggest use case for generative AI has been code generation, like all these like Cloud Code, Codex, Cursor being like massive successes. And what that is leading to is like a second order effect of code reviews becoming the bottleneck. So the role of humans have shifted away from actually writing the code to being a reviewer of the code. And that's really not scaling given how many people and tools are now opening these pull requests and change requests. So that's where CodeRabbit is right now the category leader with like very large customer base, around roughly 20,000 customers who love the product, several 100,000 developers use us on a daily basis. So all this new capital is going to go into first of all, R&D and introducing new products in the market. There's just so much infinite appetite for AI in the software development lifecycle. And secondly, the funding is going to go into expansion, especially in Europe. That is why we are like partnering with Atomico. We have a large presence. Yeah, we went from like 0 to 50 people in Europe in the last 3 months. Yeah.
Nice. Is that King's Cross maybe, or Shoreditch, or?
I actually don't know the address. I still have to visit, but we have a nice presence in London now. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, we'd love to hear it. You guys are on the ground here. You've got boots on the ground. First question straight off the back is and you mentioned it there yourself. There seems to be a trend that has really taken off maybe the last year and a half, 2 years around just like autonomous code, and essentially people stacking up more they're like orchestrating agents, writing reviewing code instead of like writing it themselves. How has that relationship played out? Like, how are the two, CodeRabbit's growth and that narrative played out together over the last like 2 years? Do you see them pretty intertwined? What's that growth trajectory been like?
It is indeed so all the demand for a tool like CodeRabbit is created upstream by the adoption of these coding agents. So the pain point manifests right after you start seeing the chaos unleashed by these coding agents.
Yeah.
Now, pretty much what you're starting seeing is so many people get enabled. It's not just the developers who are now writing the code. What we are seeing is the UX designers, the product managers. So they're all pushing code changes. And on top of that, what we're now seeing is also every tool wants to be a coding agent. As you folks know, Linear is transforming their company by saying that the issue systems are dead, and they are also becoming a coding agent company. Notion is becoming a coding agent company. PostHog, which used to do analytics, is now transforming as a coding agent company. So what that leads to is floodgates have opened.
Yeah.
And earlier, your software development was geared towards regulating the work that the developers were doing because they were the scarce resource, most expensive part of your process. And you will have tools like Jira, Linear to plan the work, do Scrum, Agile, whatever your development methodology was. Now all that has changed. It's a big reordering that's happening in software development where there's no friction going from idea to code changes now.
Yeah.
right? But what that leads to is now you have now so many code changes hitting your inbox. You can't just like ship things to production. Like otherwise, that has like security issues and regressions happening and so on. And one of the more interesting things that we're now seeing is like, first of all, the explainability gap is widening. So these agents are getting more and more capable. They're running for longer periods of time. And they're creating outputs that no one is reading. So the humans are at a stage where they cannot read the code changes anymore, let alone expect a reviewer to understand those changes. So there's a widening explainability gap and the trust gap. And what that is leading to is like the backlogs piling up, and the senior developers are now completely overwhelmed in shipping those code changes. So this is where tools like CodeRabbit have seen massive pull in the market. For us, it's like just all this growth hitting at the doorstep thanks to all these coding agents.
Okay, interesting. I did want to ask, and maybe you kind of explained it a little bit, but in terms of the demand on the market from like a senior developer or the developer ecosystem compared to the other parts of the business, whether that's the marketing like GTM function of a business or the operations side of the business. You mentioned that these parts of the business, they are like they are jumping into the code because they can now. Do you find, where do you see like the biggest growth potential being that side of the business, or like the actual developer ecosystem and going deeper into that?
It's going to be both, believe it or not. So this is how the model labs are seeing the space as well. So any problem that you can today translate to a coding problem, you're going to move 10x faster. So your entire company is going to run as code. I mean, your marketing is going to run as code. Right, and like if you're doing your slide decks in HTML, you're going to move faster. Right? That's the whole idea here. And right now, the most of the demand is coming from the software developers, but it's not going to be constrained there. As you know, like I was on an airport last week. I saw the big ads for Codex. So this means that these products are getting pushed to like the non-technical folks as well, and coding is being used kind of as an execution layer for these agents.
Within that, I think that's a really interesting point. We've discussed it many times on the show. Like the need now for the model layers, if they want to, scale at the rates that they're planning to, based off their like revenue projections and stuff, and hit those like targets, there will come a point, I think, where they do have to start winning the consumer minds, and maybe the individuals who aren't tech native as people who may be watching the show or like sit in this space. How do you see that playing out in the future? Like, what do you think that the pathway forward looks like for these model players? Because I think that we've discussed it on, many times on the show that AI has been a relatively unpopular candidate for people who don't come from the space. And we saw like Sergey get booed off stage at Arizona State a few months ago. It's kind of been classed as like an unpopular candidate AI in general. Do you think that they can win that consumer market?
Yeah, I think we've started to see like at least the prosumer kind of a market start adopting these agents. So if you've seen like Grok announced like a Grok bot a couple of days back, which is built upon like the cursor substrate. So they're using coding agent as a foundation harness to do sales outreaches or whatever, right? So we're going to start like these are like very early products right now. The first generation products have started appearing, like ChatGPT, Codex have integrated together. Cloud Code is also like the same idea. The co-work thing that they have is based on Cloud Code. I think the market very early like got burnt by some of this like hallucinations with Copilot being thrown everywhere, but that was not very effective. But now the first time we're seeing effective agents, because it's always been about the kind of surface area you provide these agents. If you can provide them all the tools, for instance, if they can access your Salesforce API, they can like do magic with that API once they can start writing code against it dynamically, right? That's what the market has decoded. And now what we are seeing even in our company, we are using like coding as a way to like even deploy Google Ads. So it's all GitOps. So we open a pull request, we merge a pull request, and Google Ads get modified somewhere. So anyway, that's what we are like finding ourselves. Like we are trying to like generate all our content through code, all the slide decks through code, and that's kind of like just the signs of things to come. It's very, very effective now.
That's super interesting. That's the first person we've had on the show that's kind of moving a company your size towards.
Well, you're like control layer. Like you guys will be governing like just all software changes, I assume.
That's right. So this is now evolving So if you look at CodeRabbit as a platform, it's also evolving away from like just being a code reviewer to being a larger agentic change management platform. So we are going to be in a world where the agents do most of the work, all the way from even taking customer feedback to opening a change request, or going from a Datadog alert production incident to a code change, or even like going from your change log and giving you a blog post you can like publish. Now the role of human is like, now every day I have to wake up. Now I need to decide which of these coding tasks I take to completion. That's where the developer has to come in and add their own taste. So it's a taste problem now. Like you have to add your judgment, first of all, where you have to prioritize which of these tasks do I take to completion, which are done by 80% done by AI, right? And then the second thing is, can I trust this work? Is it going to cause any problems? I mean, is it going to weaken my security posture? Is there like a regression happening in my code flow? So you want to look at all that. And the third thing is like your validation. Like, I mean, you want to like test it out before it goes out. So all those things are like becoming the agentic change management platform, from prioritization to explainability to securing governance and so on.
Yeah. Connected to like code review in a way is like the quality of the code, right? And maybe connected to that is like the vulnerabilities that people might find. I wanted to get your take on the containment breaches that we've been seeing recently. People have joked around like a felony benchmark system, which we've been finding quite funny over here. We're still trying to get Mistral on there, you know, the good European company, but no containments yet. What do you like? How is that relationship, like code review, vulnerabilities? Like, I'm sure there's a connection here that you guys may be thinking about. Like, how does this evolve in the future? It seems like they're getting a lot more powerful. How do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy arms race right now, which is starting to brew, right? So as you know, like these models, like Mythos class models, where the US government famously is now stepping in to regulate, I mean, have like amazing cyber capabilities. So even the software generated or written in the past, all the open source projects that you love, have so many zero-day vulnerabilities that these models are going and just exploiting, right? So they're just tearing apart existing software. So all these sandbox breaches and containment breaches are happening because these models are really finding vulnerabilities in like some package manager and using that as a way to go into, I don't know, Hugging Face or something. That's what happened. So you have to like fight fire with fire. There's no way around it. So these models are going to keep getting better and better, but it's inevitable that you have to bring in another AI to secure your code bases. So the entire industry is right now back on the market looking for next generation of security products. So that's where we have, alongside the funding, also announced like a security offering. So CodeRabbit Security is a new product that kind of shifts left your security posture management, where each pull request or each change request we see, we try to make sure that, hey, we understand the security posture of your app. Is it like weakening? Is it adding to the entropy of your code base? Is it going to be maintainable, governable going forward? So that's a new offering. The market just pulled us in that direction.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you feel like, moving forward, do you feel like that's going to be a conversation that you're having with a lot of customers, individual customers or on the enterprise kind of level? The trust and the security side of the product is just going to become, basically baked into every kind of, sales pitch and everything else, like offering wise.
That's right. I think customers across the entire spectrum are worried today about security. So it's not just larger enterprise customers which are worried. Even the faster moving teams are like kind of like have been burnt by these agents, where they are seeing constant PII leakages or authorization bypasses, data breaches, and so on. So the security is becoming like a massive pain point. It's like the other side of the code review coin. So code review is not just like looking at code quality and your bugs and best practices. A lot of the code reviews are actually about security. So this now we have like a much more focused security offering, which is an add-on where we kind of like throw more tokens at the problem, so that we can like really like run this like army of sub agents and then really understand like the sources and the sinks and whether like the reachability analysis. So it's all like magical with AI now.
Yeah, really cool. That brings on to a question that's just kind of reminded me of a conversation we had on. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or the day before, but we spoke with Mike, the CEO of Atlassian, after they had their earnings report, and he mentioned internally the evolution of the token maxing sort of era internally at enterprise companies like yours as well, was that they've now worked out an internal metric like you have a token budget per person, and you can request more budget once you breach your budget. And you mentioned it was kind of a cool way to find out who were the most AI pilled in my company, who were the most capable of creating, excessive value through AI. I was wondering, like, how do you guys look at this internally? How do you guys sort of endorse, further token maxing, but in, I guess, a more economically viable way?
Yeah, that's right. Like the market had gone kind of insane in the past with all this token maxes. We have even ourselves internally had developers like spending under $10,000 a month, right? With very little output, like making to the end of the day, right? I think there is some like sanity. Definitely, people are looking at some sort of auditability, putting some budgets in place, even understanding analytics, like how much of the wastage is happening. But also, the fundamental problem actually is very different here. So the reason we are seeing all this is because the first generation of these coding agents have been your local agents on your laptop and your developer machine. So, like people are buying Mac minis, all these OpenClaw.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is like the developers are just logging in to the tools they like, MCP tools, using their local OAuth, right? And what we are now going to see going forward is like the rise of background agents and cloud agents. So the coding should really not happen on your laptop. First of all, even I'm running like 5 Codex threads and I'm like out of my RAM or something like. So these, and the longer these tasks run, they have to run in the cloud, right?
Yeah.
And if you can move there, then there's a lot of auditability. So the organizations, even I would be more comfortable spending more on tokens if I can see where they're getting used. When you give the developers a budget, you have no visibility. Like half these developers are probably doing their side projects, not even working on your own code base.
Sure.
So someone's like building like, home automation apps on the weekends or something, right? So, on the local machine, you have no auditability. These are like API keys and you have no idea where this code is going. But when it's running in your cloud setup, maybe you're doing coding in Slack or some sort of a collaborative environment, then you're more comfortable. Then if it doesn't matter if you're like spending, 100K, 200K tokens a month, if it's adding value.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting
point. And I know we're just about at time. Maybe like a check on like what are the next sort of few months look like for you guys? How's this capital going to be deployed specifically? What's the plan?
Yeah, for us, it's like really the product velocity at CodeRabbit had exceeded the ability to talk about the products and go to market. So our bottleneck is go to market. That's the other bottleneck we started seeing. The engineering is no longer a bottleneck. So large part of capital is going to go into marketing, just like putting the stake in the ground, getting the mind share on some of the new concepts we are bringing, this whole agentic change management vision. Right. And secondly, the expansion on the international expansion. So that's why like we're partnering with Atomic Hope to build a larger team in Europe and so on.
Let's go. Love to hear it. Well, Harjot, thank you so much for joining us. Been an absolute pleasure. Congratulations on the round, and I'm sure we'll have you back for the next one.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, dude. Ciao. Really cool. Really interesting on the token maxing stuff. I like to see how different CEOs at different stages of company that may have varying products like and managing those narratives internally. Because it sounds like everyone has their own.
Well, they have to have their own like mental model, right? Like how these things work, but
the way they think about it, the way they operate.
It's interesting how a lot of these companies are shifting towards like being the OS for something, like being that.
All converging.
It's all converging. I mean, he listed out the companies that are kind of moving into like this kind of code review type company, it's an interesting one. Good conversation, and congrats to the CodeRabbit team. And exciting that they're moving to London. So
crushing. Yes, 50 people in London. So and they're expanding. So if you want a job, maybe knock on their door.
They're a great company.
Maybe we can intro you.
Should we talk about another great company, BVNK?
Let's do it. BVNK.
Accelerating the global money movement. BVNK provides enterprise-grade stablecoin infrastructure for global businesses, enabling fast, compliant payments and digital asset solutions worldwide. Go to bvnk.com.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Next on the show, we have Larissa, Schneider, CEO and co-founder of Unframe. Recently in the year, they did a $50 billion Series B, I believe.
50 billion?
50 million.
That's a huge Series B.
50 billion B.
Largest Series
50 billion B, maybe. 50 million Series B.
50 mil.
I apologize for that.
It's 100 mil funding to date. Yeah. Most recently, 50 mil Series B from Highland Europe. Total contract value across 100 million in 12 months. 400% net revenue retention. And we have Larissa coming into the studio. Larissa, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for adding another 0 to our funding round.
You caught that, did you? 50.
Sorry, I apologise. But still, 50 million is a great Series B, nonetheless. You guys have smashed it. Give us, the update from Unframe. We'd love to hear, the temperature check, and we've got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, shoot away. I'm very excited to be here. We have been running for a couple of years, so 2.5 or so, really expanded across markets, 3 rounds, seed A and B, total of 100 million. We are so excited that we were also able to announce the 100 million TCV this spring.
Yes.
Because for us, that is a big testament to our customers that come back, that want more of us, that really expand with us, but also really invest long term. And that is kind of part of what we do in our AI transformation initiatives with our customers. It really is getting the best for them, getting the best out of their businesses and helping them accelerate with AI on the most crucial aspects of their businesses.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that number specifically because it's it's a testament to obviously the business that you guys are building, but also like the demand generally for kind of adopting AI into their companies, right? What is what is that kind of temperature check and the feeling on the ground with these companies? They're obviously seeing something, a needle move when they're adopting AI. What do they come back and say? Do they want to go and implement it into all of the other parts of the business? Like, how does it actually kind of, how do those conversations kind of come about and how do the conversations move?
Yeah, great question. And honestly, if I compare that to our very early few months or a few quarters, where it was kind of like, everyone's like, I know I have to do AI, but how?
Yeah.
How do I start? What do I do? Now, that's not the question anymore. Now it's like, okay, here's my laundry list of 200 use cases. How can I get through these as quickly as possible before my next board meeting? How can I do it efficiently? There's obviously a ton of really, really great point solutions, like off-the-shelf AI software that might meet your use case. You probably, if you're a large enough enterprise, have a very nice internal development team, great AI developers, but usually those do not cover even half of what you're trying to do. Like your AI transformation across every single aspect of your business, that needs someone who can act very, very fast, who has a platform that is scalable, that has we're very proud of our knowledge fabric, which is our layer, the knowledge and context layer underneath all of the solutions that run for a customer. And that's a big advantage for them. So as soon as they work with us on the 2nd and 3rd and 15th solution, it has that shared knowledge already and understands everything about their business. So they're never really starting from scratch and opening an empty instance of a new software. That's a huge thing. And honestly, I always say we sell convenience, we sell scalability, speed, and just like the no risk aspect, because we don't charge them a cent before they're happy and kind of really running on the full rollout.
Yeah, it's clever. Cool. What's it like practically, what does it mean to kind of transform AI within a business? You mentioned, the potential 15th kind of solution that they're looking for. How do you guys go about it when you first meet a customer and think, okay, this could be an enterprise customer. These guys will need, a ton more than just one solution if we do the first solution right, which I'm sure you guys do. What does that kind of look like? Does it look like, hey, we're going to go and transform kind of a bunch of parts of the business, or we'll start with this one first? Because I imagine the scale of the problem that you guys are solving is huge within that business.
Yeah, and the spectrum can be quite large there. There's customers where we start with one use case and then see how it goes. But there are customers where we start with 10 out of the gate. All of these can be a thing. But look, and I'm sure you've been on our website, as I can tell. So you'll see we work with some amazing brands like Cushman & Wakefield and commercial real estate team out there in London where you guys are. And so there we started with a commercial real estate use case because that's the core of their business. That was the biggest thing. But over time in these types of enterprises, well, guess what? They also have other shared functions. They all have a legal team. They all have a HR team. They all have a sales. They all have logistics teams.
Sure.
And they do need transformation as well. So there's really a nice spin that we can take across the different areas of the business and different business units.
Nice, really cool. I wanted to ask, you guys, so you work across a span of different things. How do you class what's high priority for these customers? are they coming to you and saying, we need this? Or will you guys like evaluate it end to end and then be like, hey, we think that maybe this would be more high priority for you guys, like this should go first? Or is there like an education piece in there maybe? Because I'm assuming that many of them aren't sort of like AI native companies, right? They're maybe like larger scale businesses that are looking to go through a process and get to like an end goal.
Yeah. I totally agree. A lot of them are more traditional businesses. And so we have built a pretty good, I almost want to say, center of excellence in-house where we work on kind of the KPI analysis of like the business value assessment with our customers. So like if you were to change this one thing of your business, what would that output look like down the line? And we have a really great team in place that helps them crunch the numbers to see what is the highest value. And then we work with our AI strategists that can really scope the use cases. And we prioritize together with the customers, but sometimes it comes down to things that are maybe lower hanging fruits because the data is more accessible, the team is more excited to try something, and the timeline looks good. There is a great compelling event to go and kick off a process, and then that's where we start. And always happy to also in the next step prioritize 2, 3, 4, and so on.
Yeah, really cool. Sorry. You probably have like a really cool. That others won't, have like a really cool temperature check into how, I don't want to use the word real businesses because like it's not like the newer sort of like startup AI super high growth companies aren't real businesses. They are, but like these businesses are
legacy,
but also like the revenue is trusted, solid revenue, right? It's not like a new AI startup that would like blow up for a month and then 2 months later they're just dead.
Yeah.
So you probably have a really good I guess like understanding or like temperature check on how are these like traditional businesses thinking about AI, which I think is really interesting because I think we probably get lost in the noise of this new era stuff where everyone's just like, I need the frontier model and I need maximum benchmark. I want Grok 0.4, 4.6 or whatever. So like, is there anything that surprised you in the way that you deal with these? Or the way that you guys deal together, like in the way that those conversations go? Is it like, I'm surprised at how how at the frontier they are, or sometimes I'm maybe surprised at how not at the frontier they are? Like, how do those conversations go?
100%. I would say whatever you think, it's always the opposite of what you thought going into it. You're like, this is a bank. It should be like highly regulated. It should be like security is the biggest.
And they're just ripping.
And like, this needs to be out next week. So
that's good. We love that.
But look, we work with the oldest newspaper in the world. Like, they invented a newspaper, and that is so
what
cool.
Are you able to say what they're called? What's the
NZZ, the Neue Zeitung.
No way.
It's like, so out of Zurich. And
I didn't know they were the oldest newspaper ever.
Yeah, and like the most high quality German language newspaper. And me being born, raised German, it's kind of it's really cool to see how we're working with them.
That's cool.
Finally, something I can tell my parents and they totally understand what we're doing,
That's so cool. No, I thought it was an interesting anecdote because a lot of the conversations we have are always like. More.
We sit in the world and bubble of technology.
It's more in the bubble. So that's just interesting because we're seeing this. This is like a in the bubble, stepping out of the bubble. Type of moment.
Exactly. What's
and honestly, our team internally always jokes like at this stage we should be given a PhD in real estate and in financial services and in logistics. Because we really get to work with so many amazing companies that we never thought we would get to see. Behind the curtains of what's going on.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's it like being, because a lot of people talk to us and say, hey, like you must know a bunch of stuff about all of these things because you have like a wide breadth of guests on the show. But you guys are like actually doing work for these companies. And you're talking real estate, insurance, retail, like whatever it is, right? How is it kind of working with, 1 week you work with an insurance company and then the next week you start maybe working with a retail company. Is it different in a certain industry? Do you have to go and get into the weeds of that industry before you even start taking a call with them? Or is it quite universal in terms of like the AI adoption side? Obviously they have certain parts of the business that are like pretty similar, as you mentioned, like operations or legal or whatever, but
no, but you do want to understand a certain level of their business, right? Because you are coming in as their strategic partner for AI transformation. And no other topic is as important on the boardroom level as it comes to technology right now than that. So 100%, you need to do your homework. You need to be prepared. There's no question around it. Of course, there are similarities, but I think it kind of brings me to our number one challenge and excitement when it comes to recruiting new talent, right? Because everyone who works here, and now we are about 200 people, is like needs to be a little bit crazy and love the constant like context switching and always eager to learn more and stay up to date with every single industry trend, regional specifications. There's so much that changes. Like there's nothing like the AI market that moves as fast, and we always need to be in the forefront there. And so it's really exciting to see how the team is building these internal competency centers around different industries, around different professions, and kind of see how the market is moving there. It's amazing, honestly.
Yeah, interesting. Because I'm super curious. How do you guys build? Think about building the team. Is it like from technical aptitude first, or is it they have maybe background in a certain industry that then they can kind of, you guys can leverage that specific expertise, but then they might be a little bit pigeonholed in just that industry, but then you might have another deal that comes through that's in a different industry that they're kind of like less suited to. How have you guys structured the team in that way? Because it seems like a bit of a problem that, once you do crack, it's great, but maybe a hard problem to crack at the beginning.
Yeah, I think it depends a little bit on the organization, and you can almost see it as like a bit of a matrix. We have the people that go super deep technical because in the end, we are building a very repeatable platform. And so getting the technical building blocks as perfect and as most like cutting edge as possible, you need the technical depth. But then we have our more customer-facing teams, our product strategists, our field CTO organization, all of our go-to-market folks that do often have a great understanding of a specific industry and bring that to the mix. And I would say in addition to that, we also work a lot with partners. So we have a lot of our consultancies that have a specific practice in certain verticals, and we work very closely together to make sure we have the full visibility from technical, from the professional side, and as well as the industry.
Yeah, it's cool. What can we, what are you guys focused on over the next 6 months? What's that future looking like? What's the next North Star for you?
Yeah, I mean, we would just, it's a bit a few months ago now, but we just raised that other round. So a lot of expansion right now. We opened a ton of new markets, which we're very excited about. In Europe as well as Middle East is going really, really well for us. Nice. Obviously, the US was our first market going in. So a lot of expansion there, putting teams in those places, as well as also our partnerships. So that is, as I said, a big focus for us, and really an area where we are building a very, very strong network, and are extremely excited about what we're able to announce there over the next few months constantly.
Amazing stuff. That is time. Time. We're 1 minute over. Larissa, it's been great. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep us posted on any updates. I'm sure there'll be more. Let us know when that Series C comes in, and we'll do it again.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me today.
Cheers, Larissa.
Thank you
so much.
Good to meet you.
Larissa,
sick company.
Unframe.
Very
crushing
cool
as always.
Indeed.
Of sick companies, let me tell you about Airwallex. Leave our data is business banking behind. With Airwallex, it's the all-in-one financial platform built with the pace of modern business, multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all-in-one platform. Go to airwallex.com.
Just do it. Stuff. Go to airwallex.com.
I know we were in the middle of the McDonald's saga. I do kind of want to go back and just pick up a little bit of where we were at, because I do find it such an interesting
There's more
story.
to dive deep on.
They take a lot of data. This is from McDonald's. McDonald's takes data privacy and security seriously, and we take robust steps to safeguard customer information. This is a McDonald's spokesperson who's told this to Wired via email. Like many digital loyalty programs, we use information such as past purchases to provide a more engaging personal customer experience, like delivering the most relevant deals, offers, and messages. Again, I'm super down. Take all my data. Take it all. If it means I can get a better experience on your product, I am down.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Take it all. Cookies, I'll sign away. I'll accept them all.
I don't really understand the whole kind of data wariness, to be honest. Because yes, companies can profit. Companies can profit from the data, fine. But
there's cameras in the pigeons.
Yeah.
They got everything they need, you know?
They're profit-making machines. I love businesses making profit. So if you want to profit off me, go for it.
That's fine. I see these things. I'm like, look, if we can put a man on the moon, we can probably like track you and your movements. It's probably happening. You know?
If a man can make a reusable rocket.
And there's a buddy of mine who, and I don't know what the general consensus on the accepting and not accepting the cookies is, but like there's a buddy of mine who probably wants to remain anonymous, so I won't mention my name. But I was at their place like a few months ago now, so that's quite a while ago. But it's cookie related, and I was putting some tunes on, and I was on his iPad, and like a pop-up came up, something like that. I had to like, accept the cookies, and I just naturally, I was just like, accept the cookie. And he was like, oh no, he's like, no, like reload it, go back. Like I just like reload it all up, go again, and like then decline the cookies. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like, really, do we care that much? Is this like a huge thing? And I was surprised, but I don't know if my take is, like, do you accept the cookies? I always accept the cookies.
I didn't even read that message.
Neither do I. I don't know what I'm accepting, to be fair.
Maybe...
But it's fine, isn't it?
It's
not that bad. Unless it's fear. Cookie stuffing our websites, taking a bit of
cookie
making a quick buck over us. Yeah, cookie stuffing.
Anyway.
But if you make my McDonald's experience on the app better...
If you make any product experience better, take the cookies. Yeah. You can have all the cookies you want. Should we talk about Chinese farmers?
Yes.
Before we do bangers of the day, we've got 5 minutes.
Before we talk about Chinese farmers, I want to talk about Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from the knowledge. Go to polymarket.com. Guys are going crazy over there.
Let's go.
Polymarket, we love to hear it. We love to see it.
A Chinese farmer has accidentally killed 25 acres of crops after trusting AI advice. AI chatbot suggested a treatment plan for that completely destroyed sesame seedlings.
This one stung.
This one stung. This is not a good use case of AI. A 67-year-old makes it even worse from Shuzhou in Anhui or Anhu. Whatever you say. Province has been using artificial intelligence software for a year prior to the incident, according to local reports, using it to ask advice on everything from scheduling to fertilizing. Initial success led him to trusting the AI and blindly following its instructions without confirming the information with other sources. After asking what the best course of treatment for controlling weeds and pests on sesame crops, the AI suggested a treatment plan that completely destroyed a large field of seedlings. Agricultural experts attributed the error to a herbicide called flufenicet, which can be harmful to flufenicet.
I know my pesticides.
Which can be harmful to sesame fields if not used in a highly targeted manner. They said the seedlings were no good the day after I sprayed them, the farmer told Taiwanese city site CTWANT. The weeds and seedlings died together, and the seedlings died even faster. The unnamed AI app, they haven't even this would be a felony benchmark edition. So maybe Mistral jump on this, because this could be a felony benchmark point. Claim the felony. The AI app that the farmer used reportedly carried a warning at the top of the dialogue page that stated AI generation may be incorrect. Please verify. Similar disclaimers can be found on popular apps like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Gemini, though some users have suffered for not double-checking answers provided by chatbots. Do you check your answers?
I used to, to be fair. I used to. Only when it messed up once. And then from then on, it's like, I have to check all the time, and then over time you just stop checking again, and then
so I didn't read the story before we came on air, and I wanted to just mention that he's been using it for a year, so successful for a year, you're obviously going to trust it if it's good enough, and then suddenly, nope, it's telling you to kill your crops. Then again, if it tells you to spray a herbicide on your full crop, you should definitely double check.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, at least one.
Like maybe like a few like like timings of things and like a bunch of other stuff. Like if it learns how best your your yield is when this happens and then this happens, that's absolutely fine. But choosing when to actually put a whole herbicide on your whole crop, bad idea.
You hate to see it for the poor guy.
you hate to see it.
He's probably he's working. He's doing what he can out there. And this is dreadful PR for the AI companies. It's dreadful PR for the AI companies. It's like one of the saddest stories of
67
AI.
as well. It's rough.
It can be carnage out there. It can be super dangerous out there. So
Indeed.
if you do have 25 acres of farmland in China and you are looking to take care of the seedlings, don't cover it all in herbicide. Because the seedlings will die quicker than the weeds, which is what happened here to our unfortunate gentleman in China.
Anyway,
it really tickles the soul.
Let's move on to bangers of the day.
We do have bangers of the day.
5 minutes later, we need to cheer up the mood.
5 minutes.
This is Douglas.
We bring in Alex.
Douglas, a bone path. I want to say this is good. This is very good. Remember,
Douglas, a
can we pull this up?
Bone path. Great name.
Remember to treat your body like a data center. Consume as much literature and water as possible.
Very good. Very solid.
It's good advice as well.
It is good advice.
It's good advice.
It should be at
Read,
schools.
Drink water, be a data center.
This should be up on school walls.
Maybe governments should do a bit of an ad campaign.
Be a data center.
Be a data center.
We want you to be a data center.
Yeah.
Consume water, consume literature. I think that could work. Yeah, huge fan of
this.
this.
And then maybe kind of AI adoption and the kind of narrative behind AI just gets a little bit better because everyone's like, yeah, I'm going to be a data center. Data centers get kind of pulled in this positive light. Sorted.
Halloween, kids are dressing up as data centers.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way in. Can we make it trend?
Kids are asking for data centers for their birthdays.
Yeah, hell yeah.
For Christmas.
Could work. That's probably
data centers coming down your chimney.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Data center hunt at Easter instead of Easter egg hunt. You go on a data center hunt with the kids.
Basically, Douglas, you've come out with a banger, and I'm close to saying banger of the day, but we haven't got to the next ones yet.
Let's just slow down.
Let's talk about pigeons. We talked about them at the beginning. Beginning of the day.
Pigeon here in the studio.
Noah has spent 3 weeks building a texting app slower than email. Messages fly at pigeon speed to LA from LA to NYC. Takes 22 hours. Sometimes the bird dies and the message doesn't even deliver. If we pull this video up, we can see my. Yeah, we don't need to do that again.
I thought that was the app.
It might be. Can you pull this up? Because my screen's not working.
Oh, yeah. I have it on mine here.
Let's pull Vernon's up. Oh, here we go.
Is this me? No, this is you.
I just started working. That's classic.
Here we go. Okay, so he goes through it quite quick here, but this is
quickly, what does it say?
Let me pause it on.
Hey, this is a great idea. Good job from the UK. Thank you. Hope you are enjoying the app.
Your pigeon is delivering a scroll, it says. So this is a message got from a user. Oh,
so
wow.
It flies.
You can see it's 1 day.
Wow.
Okay, so that's come from. Okay, so this is tracking the message that he's got from
London,
a user.
London to New York, or a little bit above London, maybe like
1 day,
Newcastle
2 hours away. And it's got the mileage at the bottom as well, 3,300.
It's very clever.
76.
Noah,
this is more like a fun game, to be fair, than anything else.
How annoying would it be if you waited a day and your pigeon dies?
Well, yeah, I probably wouldn't be sending like incredibly time-sensitive information on there, or important information for that matter.
Well, you could kind of go back. You could go back in the times, and
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, if it is the new way that people want to communicate, maybe it's the new Slack.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see a Salesforce acquisition.
I think
the fastest internal.
I think GDP might just start declining if we use Noah's app for Slack.
If this was the internal fastest growing messaging board of all time.
Yeah.
Noah,
Noah, good one.
4.6 million views.
I like this.
There was
this is good. We've got 2 more.
Jubilations in the.
I would use this
in the timeline.
I'm still in favor of data centers, but I think you're different.
Yeah, I mean, this is less of a banger, to be fair. It's more of a cool.
Okay.
I mean, it is a banger.
Look, we have 2 more. Let's figure it out, and then we'll
okay.
We'll review on all 4. Let's go to Joseph's one. This was a bit of a banger, to be fair. Do you want to read it out?
This is Joseph at Claudio. What is that?
Whatever.
14.
Joseph.
14. A Chad might mog, but when the jester performs, even the king sits to listen.
No capital letters,
No, he's absolutely smashed it here. I think this is 33.8K.
This is something that our intern would say.
I've personally liked it. What do you think? This is max coded.
Yeah, this is kind of max coded.
That's a great compliment.
I think I'd see him in the office, and he'd just, I'd say, "Hey man, how's your day going?" And he'd go back to me, "Chad might mock, but when the jester performs, even the king sits to listen."
But then what? Okay, but then he says that. Then what happens?
I think then he's mogged me.
So he's a Chad then. He's mogged you. Then he's the Chad in this.
Yeah. Does that mean I'm the jester?
Maybe you're the jester.
There you go.
The king? Does the king think to listen?
I don't know. I've lost it. This is a cool one. This is just quite funny. Are we cooked if vibe coding keeps improving? How I think vibe coding will go. Me, absolutely hitting the models, doing everything I need. 2 minutes later, these models are owning me. They're talking like very, very up there statesman, and I feel like a bit of a Neanderthal. That I like that from Vivo. Vivo, you've done a good job.
It's in good meme format. Not personally my banger of the day.
No? I'm going data center, man. I'm going data center.
Data center guy.
We have to choose. We have our next guest coming in. ASAP.
I know.
Douglas, come on.
I just think Joseph's just dropped some generational stuff there. But to be honest, no, I do like... well, the timeline kind of decided as well. 1.7 million views. Douglas did.
Yeah, I feel like we have to go with the timeline. Also, it's time. It's good timing.
But then again, follower to.
No, I'm putting my foot down. Ratio. Douglas, you won.
Okay,
congrats, banger of the day. Remember to treat your body like a data center. Consume as much literature and water as possible. Stay safe out there. Be a data center.
Congratulations.
Let's bring our next guest on the show. Our final guest, actually. Final
CEO
guest.
and co-founder of Higgsfield, and we have got so much stuff to dig into with them. Took over the timeline recently for a very popular AI 2-hour video, and here is Alex coming to the studio. Alex, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Luke. So great to be here. Obviously, guys, what you're doing is incredible, and happy to cover how Higgsfield grows in Europe. Actually, Europe is our #1 region by usage, surpassing North America.
Let's go.
We love that. Love to see it.
Amazing news about
everyone in the office is super pumped that Europeans are on top in Higgsfield land,
which is great. Where do we even start? There's so much to chat about. For me, I just love to ask about the scale of Higgsfield, like how fast you guys have scaled this up. We mentioned like scaling from 0 to 500 million revenue run rate in just 15 months is one of the fastest scaling apps we've seen. Can you just maybe walk us through like the growth journey that you guys have been on?
Absolutely. Actually, I work in the video AI space for the last 11 years.
Wow.
And sort of I always had this, like a dream that probably we're going towards the future where pixels are going to be AI generated. Since pixels, they're already digital, right? What's the point of like running physical production and so on? Yeah. Especially in the era of social media where content freshness really is just maybe content is fresh maybe for 6 hours, maybe for 1 day. And like there are some high-level production studios who can maintain the pace up like you guys, but most like 99.9% of businesses can never get anywhere close. So we're basically building towards this future of programmable videos. And really things just started to accelerate for us around November last year, where we started to see that most of our adoption come from social media marketing teams who make ads end-to-end with AI.
Okay, amazing stuff. The next part of the question was, it's more around the virality that you guys have seen. You're very good at launching stunts, and specifically very good at launching stunts on X as well. Like, you guys always drum up a load of impressions. You do an incredible job of it. The most recent one is connected to, well, I actually didn't know that this was the title of it, but the Cully Hill Boys. And this was essentially a first of its kind AI feature film spanning about 110 to 120 minutes, completed in 4 weeks. $2 million was the spend by a crew of 28 people. This to me sounds like, well, one, obviously a first of its kind, but two, maybe a peek into the future of what Hollywood looks like. Could you maybe just like run us through this? Like, how did you guys get to this? What was this release? Why did you think this was necessary to show the world? You would love to hear more about it.
Absolutely. What's important is that the author of the script, Timothy, he actually was a finalist in 2026 London screenplay competition. So the script is written by a human, and I think that's inherently a human job. There is no other way to kind of create a story. On the other hand, what we did truly uniquely is we licensed identities of very popular social media stars like Israel Adesanya, a very famous UFC fighter, MK, like streetball player, Neon, who is very famous streamer, and Quinton Rampage Jackson, who is a famous UFC fighter as well. So, and I think this just represents a new form of media. Just going back historically, looking at the pace how TikTok grew or YouTube grew, collaborations definitely contributed a lot to kind of these accounts to compound on the virality of each other. And we just believe this is going to be a new media format, which is unlocked by AI. In our data, we can see that pretty much every major Hollywood studio is using AI. They are using Higgsfield in one way or another. Very often it's used to optimize post-production VFX budgets. Sometimes it's also used for pre-production. But a lot of people are worried if it's even possible to go and create like 110 minutes with AI. And that's where we're trying to lead by example, showing what's possible. Yeah. And on the other hand, a lot of people think, oh, AI is a slop. You just click the button and you get like infinite slop machine. This is not the case either, because you can imagine like for $2 million, it's millions of generations, if not tens of millions of generations, which went to make a movie. So I definitely can attest that there is so much human choice and intentionality to pick the right segments. And sometimes ratio, just to get the 5 seconds right, they have to generate 500 variations of the same 5 seconds.
Yeah. We can talk about kind of like the model performance and how good it's, you know, how good it's getting and how realistic the video looks and everything. But I kind of want to talk about the things that are downstream from that just for a second, about like the kind of how businesses, how Hollywood, you know, how all of these kind of industries will be using, you know, AI video specifically, you know. You can imagine a global enterprise company creating global campaigns. You can kind of see it, you know, the early stages of that happening. But can you kind of explain the extent of how big this, you know, everything downstream from getting the model this good, and what it means for like an enterprise in terms of like their marketing ability to go and get the word out there about their product, and how, you know, a company can use something like Higgsfield?
Absolutely. And you're spot on. In larger companies, especially multinational companies, there is a huge bottleneck around assets governance. and just ensuring brand consistency. And all the incumbent tooling, the best job which they can do is to define like RGB theme, like just the color.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere close to the details, how much these brand guidelines go into. So what's important with AI is that the recent models obviously have very deep visual understanding capabilities, so they can actually go inspect each asset and ensure that every new asset is generated according to the guidelines. And the premise of hyper-personalization now finally becomes possible. So what I mean by that is it's possible now to take one ad, change, localize person appearance, localize backgrounds, localize the voice, and use all this data to further to drive localization to hundreds of different regions and languages.
Interesting.
But what we are most excited is that now every builder can finally find go-to-markets through AI-generated videos. And that's frankly where we're seeing most of the adoption. It's from smaller agencies, smaller businesses, a lot of developer community. Like let's say someone developed an app. Historically, it would require maybe a budget of tens of thousands of dollars to go and just launch the first campaign, to do the shooting and so on. Now it all becomes possible with AI.
Interesting.
So cool.
I'll just I know we kind of brushed past it, but I think it deserves more attention. The AI film that you guys put out. I watched like the first 20 minutes, I think, last night, and I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised at how impressive it was, at how good it was. Is there like how far away do you think that we'll be from people going to like the cinema, for example, and watching a fully AI generated film? Like how far away do you think we'll be from, you go out with the family maybe and you'll be sat in a cinema and you'll watch an AI generated film? Like, where do you think we are on that timeline?
That's a good question. So I think there are two angles which matter. First is perception, and second is the quality.
Yeah.
So let me start with perception. Definitely, most of the people, they perceive AI-generated content as being kind of cheaper and less valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So there is definitely no pushback to watch AI-generated content. But I think paying for AI-generated content today has not become a norm yet. On the other hand, we run multiple studies at the scale of thousands of people, and we have actually seen that on average, people don't care if the content is AI-generated or not AI-generated, and very often people cannot even spot the difference. So I think on social media is just the perfect place today for a lot of AI-generated content, where the adoption across like streaming, TV, and Hollywood also growing, but that's kind of piece by piece.
Yeah, of course. What's the kind of split between, because I feel like that they are very different focuses, with the Hollywood conversation and how that's moving, and then the things that we were talking about 2 minutes ago about kind of enterprise and marketing and kind of campaigns being run using Higgsfield. How much time do you guys feel like you should be focusing on either side? Do you kind of split it 50-50, or when one needs attention, you go to that, do you go to that side? Are they split, or are you guys just like focused on the models and making sure that, wherever the business needs the attention, you go and put the attention there?
That's a good question. Obviously, we think about priorities every day as well.
Yeah.
And frankly, what we're doing is we just ensure that we follow the adoption curve.
Okay.
We have not been engaged in projects in entertainment space until March this year.
Yeah.
And that's where we started to see really strong adoption of professional post-production studios, and we decided to lean into this vertical as well. Today, the team is approaching 300 people, and we have probably over 70% of the team focused on various core creative and marketing use cases, with a smaller team working on entertainment projects.
Sure.
Yeah, really interesting. Okay. If we can, I'd love to go to like the start of this whole thing. You mentioned at the start you've been in this space for like 11 years or something, right? Like, what was it? What was the founding story here? What was the original story? Like, how do you? I know when we spoke offline a little bit, like you're a world-renowned coder as a child. What was the early days like moving into this? Like, how did you start out in this space?
That's a good question. So, my father is from Uzbekistan. This is a country in Central Asia. It's not like a small country. It's more than 30 million people there, but GDP per capita is like $2,000. And if a family of 5 makes $1,000, you're like incredibly rich. $1,000 a month.
Wow.
So for me, sort of coding was the only way to kind of escape, and this was a social elevator for me. And frankly, for me personally, it matters a lot that now more and more underrepresented talents can make a video with AI. Maybe they're going to get featured in our contest or Higgsfield creators page on Instagram, and then they can land their commercial projects. So I think this adoption of smaller AI native agencies and freelancers is something which truly excites me. And then, and obviously, kind of the whole, I guess, points of AI is to drive further democratization around the world. And that's why, I guess, what you're doing, guys, is also very important. Because historically, lots of innovation was just focused straight to Silicon Valley. There was no other place to even build.
Yeah.
Now we can see that like Higgsfield can build from Asia. We can see that Lovable and 11 Labs can build successfully from Europe. Mm-hmm. You guys can launch successful tech show out of Europe, and this matters a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That. That's really cool. That's really cool fan story. We would love to talk more about like the road ahead. What is the road ahead for you guys? What is the target? We mentioned the run rate that you guys are on from a revenue basis. We've mentioned like the growth rate that you guys are on. Yeah, what does that look like? What is the big target in mind?
I heard maybe $1 billion run rate potentially.
Yeah, for sure. We are approaching $1 billion run rate in October, in Q4 this year. Current projection is October, and I think what matters the most, going back to the question, is to make sure that on the one side, Higgsfield is a place where creative teams can be productive, but also what matters is that creators essentially can monetize their AI skills.
Yeah.
So we launch projects like Higgsfield Academy. We also open source all these movies to make sure people can develop the skills. But what matters down the line is further monetization. So we're working with a couple large entertainment studios and so on collaboration, so that these AI talents can find its home and find like full-time job, maybe working on the next huge AI generated show. And for us, it's also important to make sure that like once creators they go and join like a larger production team, they continue building on Higgsfield. So Higgsfield covers the whole creator journey essentially.
Sure.
Really, really interesting.
Incredible.
Wow. I know we are at time. I don't want to take too much of your time unless you.
No, but just gobsmacked about $1 billion run rate this year. So cool. Huge congrats on what you guys have built. We would obviously, love you back on whenever you have time. And we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Look, Ron, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate the way how you show the path forward for Europeans globally. I also saw you broadcasting at the Race Summit, I guess, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So hope our paths cross in the future.
Yeah, let's do it. Hopefully we'll meet you soon.
We'll have a coffee.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Ciao,
we'll see you
Alex.
soon.
Nice
Great to
one.
meet you.
What a legend. Absolute killer.
Legend. Talking about a legendary company, Polymarket. The world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com. We love Polymarket over there. And all of our other sponsors. Thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Go to etnshow.co for our newsletter every day at 12 p.m. BST UK time. We will see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. BST UK time. Bye.
Ciao. Thank you.